And now on BBC Radio 4, the classic serial. And today we begin a three-part dramatization of Patrick O'Brien's The Mauritius Command, a stirring tale of naval battles and political intrigue based on the Royal Navy's campaigns against French forces in the Indian Ocean in the early years of the 19th century. David Robb stars as Captain Jack Aubrey, with Richard Delane as the naval surgeon and spy, Stephen Maturin.
The Mauritius Command by Patrick O'Brien. Dramatized in 3 parts by Roger Danes. Episode 1.
Dear Lord, there's no weight lost in those posteriors. Took the beam at 15 stone there. Would I be addressing the celebrated Captain Aubrey at all?
Stephen!
Myself.
How very happy I am to see you. Old Stephen, where have you been? How are you? Where have you been all this time?
I've taken the waters at Caldas de Bois. They made me as supple as a fawn again.
Splendid.
I was able to make quite a number of valuable observations on the cretins there.
The cretins?
Bois is largely inhabited by idiots, my dear.
Not the only place. Not by a long chalk. Look at the Admiralty. A general as First Lord. That is stark raving lunacy for you. You're staying with us, of course. Have you seen Sophie?
I've not.
Then come. She will be somewhere in the house.
I did pause at your kitchen door, asked the young woman was the captain at home.
Bessie. Yes. It is the damnedest thing, Stephen. I managed a ship's company of 300 odd, easy as kiss your hand. But can I get the least notion of discipline into my domestic establishment?
Well, hearing the sounds from within, the massacre of the innocents did come to mind.
Ah, that will be the twins.
How old are they now?
They seem to have been here forever. Quite old. Sophie will know exactly.
And you've moved your observatory. Did it not answer by the house?
Yes, it did. But I tell you what it is, Stephen. From up here, you can see the Solent to the White.
Ah.
The tip of Gosport and Spithead. I have a new 6-inch speculum. 3 months I spent buffing and grinding the lenses with the finest Pomeranian sludge to finish them off.
Ah, you are the speculum maker of the world, Jack.
Tonight, I may show you Jupiter with it.
Does Sophie not mind your stargazing?
No matter how late. But staring at the Solent ain't astronomy. She don't say anything. But she thinks I am pining for the sea. It brings her low.
And do you pine much?
You will not mind walking in through the scullery?
Never in life.
No ceremony,
Only to touch my grandchildren's food? Do not shake your head at me, miss.
Mrs. Williams' recovery has been providential.
Yes. Mapes Court is out at rent. And it is a comfort to Sophie to have her mother here, I believe.
Yes, you may well pack your bag, miss.
I dare say, though, you would like to look at the garden before going in.
I should like it of all things. And the bee.
You are a dishonest and spiteful Welsh hussy, miss.
It is odd, but they seem to have piped down these last few weeks.
You refer to the bee?
Yes. I've not been very close since I tried to take their honey, but they seem not to be about.
For how long?
It must be more than a month since I was stung. Be careful, Stephen. They are Tartars.
Ah. Yes. I'm afraid it is the fell wax moth.
Is there something I should have done?
Not that I know of.
Sophie and I value them extremely. As your present.
I shall bring you some more bees of a bolder stock.
That is our cow.
I thought it must be a cow. For milk, I make no doubt.
We look forward presently to vast quantities. And butter, cream, veal. At the moment, she happens to be dry.
Nor is she gravid. The reverse, indeed. Lean. Pharaonic. Cadaverous.
She refuses the bull. He is game enough. Oh, Lord, yes. But she has nothing to say to him. Then he flies into a hellfire passion, raging and tearing up the ground. And we go without milk.
Is her behavior so illogical, Jack? Reflect upon the continual wearisome pregnancies, the price of a momentary, and I may say aleatory pleasure. Were I a female of any kind, I should beg to decline.
Yes.
I speak philosophically.
Yes.
And do not think of asking Captain Aubrey for a character, for you will not get one. I
That is the
Stay
fourth
till you
cook
make
lost this
good.
year. You know I was no friend of the cat Stephen at sea, but rot me, I can see it has its uses.
Oh, Stephen! How happy I am to see you. Come in, come in. I shall be down directly.
I'm sure she will be down directly. You would not credit the din they can kick up if things are not to their liking.
Oh, no, not on the settle, Dr. Maturin, if you please. It is so bad for the cane.
Here, Stephen, take mine. I should perhaps, Sophie may need. Down directly.
I brought the settle with me from dear Mapes. No doubt you will remember it, Doctor. From the summer dining room.
I do, ma'am.
I like to see it give Captain A's cottage something of the air of a gentleman's house. Is that chair comfortable enough for you?
Admirably so.
I could not bear to leave so valuable a thing to my tenant. A worthy enough man, no doubt, but something in the commercial line. Such a one as would not scruple to sit on it. The clock, also, I brought from Mapes. It is the most accurate in the country, I believe.
A handsome regulator it is. Could it be set a-going at all?
Oh, Lord, no, Doctor, no. The works would instantly start to wear. Captain A is handy in the house, but to repair such a clock, the cost would be prohibitive to have it done properly.
Yes. Oh, for the moment they are quite presentable.
Oh, the darling.
Very fine children, my dear. I should have known them anywhere.
Oh, I can never tell the one from t'other. I probably have Charlotte.
That is funny.
Oh, Captain, not to know your own children, your very flesh.
Is that so, my dear? Shall we fly?
Jack, I beg you, do not.
Oh, Stephen!
It is liable to do them great harm, flinging them up into the air, sir.
They like it. Laugh and crow and so on. Almost human.
Oh, the little darling.
Oh, where can be the harm?
It will serve only to confuse their intellect.
Stuff, Doctor.
Don't tell me so.
And a girl, when grown into a woman, has greater need than a man of her intellect.
We've always
My
thrown
dear, Stephen has studied the cretins of Boheme.
Oh, well, I shall never do it again.
No, ma'am. It is a grievous error to throw children to the ceiling.
I was thrown into battle first before my voice broke.
It's not the same.
Oh, who can that be? Ma'am, would you?
I?
Take Charlotte, I mean.
Fanny.
Yes. While I go to the door.
There, my pocket. Yes. How I wish you could hop into a ship, Stephen.
My dear, what is the voice of a poor surgeon amidst the counsels of the great?
We saw it in the paper that you were called in when the Duke of Clarence was ill, Doctor.
We thought that perhaps
His Highness is in bad odour with the Admiralty, madame.
he spends hours with his telescope on the hill, staring at the sea, Stephen. Oh, he's so...
The boy from the Crown. And a damned odd letter. Lady Clonfert presents her compliments to Captain and Mrs. Aubrey and would be most grateful for a passage to the Cape. Promising to take up no room and to give no trouble whatsoever. Flatters herself that Mrs. Aubrey, as a fellow sailor's wife, will understand her support. Ah, certainly she may have a passage to the Cape, whenever I happen to be going there.
Jack, a word with you, if you please.
You have been up to something.
Were you to be ordered to sea, brother, I collect you would rage not nor curse, snatched though you would be from domestic felicity?
I should kiss the messenger.
This I had supposed. I have, in fact, been up to something, as you put it. Do you know the boat is here?
38, yes, of course. Weatherly, though a trifle slow.
A frigate, I make no doubt?
She's fitting foreign for the Leeward Islands station. Charles Lovelace has her.
Well, she's to be diverted to the Cape. Captain Lovelace was to have taken her there to form part of a squadron, thence into the Indian Ocean.
Was to have, Stephen?
The balance of power in those waters has recently been entirely upset by the arrival of 4 new French frigates, which have already taken 2 Indiamen and clearly threaten the whole of our eastern trade.
So the squadron Lovelace was to have joined?
Is intended not only to counter these enemy frigates, but also to take their bases away from them.
Mauritius?
And La Réunion, the last French possessions in the Indian Ocean. I was to accompany the force, together with the island's proposed new governor.
It has always seemed unnatural to me that islands should not by nature be English.
I was in a position to offer a certain amount of advice, my dear. Captain Lovelace is much what caressed by the Admiralty, but mentally and physically it appeared to me that he was not fitted to the political side of the task.
Nor has he any notion of cross-cut harpins. They would make the world of difference.
I have no conception of what you're saying. No matter, Captain Lovelace is now on shore, afflicted by an obstinate tenesmus. In spite of my colleagues' efforts and my own, his malady is like to keep him there. I suggested that Captain Aubrey... if you would relax your grip, Jack. Thank you.
A ship!
There were some very frivolous objections to do with seniority in the squadron and flying of some kind of flag.
Commodore's broad pendant.
That's some trifling mark of distinction. I carried my point, but, as always, several people had to be consulted. It is evident that at least one has been talking.
A broad pendant, for the love of God.
The rumour has already spread. This Lady Clonfert's application to you confirms the worst.
Clonfert is on the Cape Station, captain of the Otter.
Always the same thing. Gabble, gabble, blab, blab, like a pack of geese upon a common. Though the French were deaf, dumb, blind, and incompetent.
Oh, Lord, Stephen, I am a different man.
You're not to mention this, Jack. Not to Sophie, not to any other person.
I must start looking to my sea chest, at least.
Of course you must not. Not until the Port Admiral's messenger is come with your orders. I appear and you have a ship. What must Sophie conclude? Or anyone of the meanest intelligence? I have been undone before by the chatter of cushioned fools in London. I still bear the scars.
Then I suppose I had better go back to the observatory.
You cannot be seen until you have your orders. You're as transparent as a bride.
And I can train my glass upon the Portsmouth Road. Do you think the messenger will be long a-coming?
So long as he outpaces Lady Clonfert.
Lord, Stephen, I wish I could get out of that. You cannot refuse a brother officer's wife.
Refuse a lift, you mean?
What else? I'm married now. It don't signify.
Go, Jack. Watch the road. Sophie will soon enough lose her husband to his natural element.
Boadicea, June the 13th, 1809. Off Madeira, 30 degrees north, 1550 west. Winds light, east by south, sea moderate. At 8 a.m. sighted 2 sail to east, made chase. At 10, engaged enemy frigate, Hebe, 28.
She strikes!
Cease fire, Mr. Seymour! And well done!
Cease fire there! Cannot you see she has struck?
Cease fire, damn you! Do you think it's the Honourable Artillery Company? Pass the word for Mr. Akers.
All this banging of great guns for so pitiful a result.
Oh, come, Stephen. It was a very pretty morning's work. A handsome little victory. Only 2 weeks at sea. Wounded James Ashton, Ordinary, and William Bates, Marine.
A pretty way to understand an elegant economy of means. I cannot congratulate you, Jack.
What a rattle you are, to be sure.
A little small slip of a French frigate, and it embarrassed among the rocks. Rocks upon which I am not to be allowed to set foot, for there is not a minute to be lost.
We were trying to salvage her prize, Stephen. The Guinea man.
Oh, yes, and an infamous backing and filling before she was even approached, in spite of her captain's ardent pleas.
What I know, Stephen, and what you
not
do not.
A minute, and 47 are wantonly thrown away. Invaluable minutes of scientific observation that will never be made up.
Those minutes lost gave Boadicea a right to 1/8 of the Guinea man's value, as opposed to a mere letter of thanks from her owners.
I see this makes you a happy man.
As happy as anyone who has made 2 charming captures, and sent off a prize crew with them, including 8 sodomites, 3 notorious thieves, and a parcel of inveterate skulkers and sea lawyers, not to mention my first lieutenant, Mr. Akers, to command them. In my official letter here, I have commended his conspicuous gallantry.
Did not observe any such.
Nor did I.
Sir, I am very much obliged to you.
I have every confidence, Mr. Seymour, that you will make a fine replacement for Lieutenant Akers. Pray God he and his charges arrive safely at Gibraltar.
Amen to that, sir.
So the Boadicea finds herself in need of a new second. Mr. Johnson, you have passed for lieutenant, I believe.
Oh, yes, on the first Wednesday in August, 1802.
No friends to speak for you, eh? Well, 7 years is too long. I shall give you an order as acting lieutenant, and let us hope that Admiral Bertie at the Cape will confirm it.
Sir, thank you very much, sir.
For we are bound for the Cape, gentlemen. And round the other side of it, there are 4 40-gun French frigates waiting for us, which they will be well worked up, you may be sure. Now, today's little brush was very well in its way, but I scarcely suppose that any one of us could call it pretty.
Not quite in your Minorca style, sir. I was a midshipman in Emilia, sir.
Was you, though?
When you brought the Cacafuego into Mahon, Lord, how we cheered you.
Well, I'm glad it was not her that we came upon today, Mr. Seymour. The Boadiceure's gunnery, gentlemen, is pitiful beyond all description. By the time we reach the Cape, I trust that every man and boy on the muster book will be able to pull an oar, hand and reef a sail, load, point, and fire a musket or a gun. Teach them their duty, gentlemen. Then we shall be in a fair way to meet any French frigate.
Bring forward the first who would enter the dominion of mighty Neptune.
Here's one, Your Honor. Do with him what you will.
I know what I do with you, darling.
Now, boys, winning time.
What is your name, my man?
Arthur Willoughby.
Brush him!
Oh, what's he call that?
What age are you?
8 and 20.
Brush him! Speak, man, speak!
I'll say no more. You put that muck in my mouth.
Amphitrite, if he will not speak, you must put him overboard!
Overboard he goes, my lord and master. Traitor!
No, I can't swim, Your Honor. No!
Dangle him from a good rope, that he may drown slowly. Take him down!
June the 26th, 0 degrees, 1420 west. Ceremony of crossing the line. 123 souls made freemen of the equator. Light seas, clear, fine, Tegansel wind, nor-northwest. A double broadside in a trifle less than 2 minutes. A good deal faster than some ships, I know.
Thank you, sir.
Tolerable accurate, too. But we will do better, Mr. Seymour. I will have what I value above all things. A mortal rate of fire.
Let me not interrupt your assiduous oozes, gentlemen.
That is the end of the piece, Mr. Farquhar.
Oh, is it? I'm afraid I should not know. Materiam superabat opus, I believe.
Shall we play again, Jack?
Oh, what might our guest like?
Whist. Or chess.
Something more English. Handle, perhaps?
My dear Captain Aubrey, I fear I would not give a farthing candle for him. Nor your Haydn, Mozart. What was that Italian fellow now?
Boccherini.
Ah, him neither.
You cannot possibly dislike the man. I can and do. Intensely when he pins my king on a rook with his lurking knight. Most other times, however, Mr. Farquhar is a valuable, eager, perspicacious companion.
I shall not be altogether sorry to set him down on shore.
He must first capture the islands of which he is to be governor. You must resign yourself to his company for a while longer, yet.
When I was a lieutenant, messing with the rest, I used to put up with men far, far more trying than Farquhar. His Latin. What did he mean about our playing?
Oh, compliment. The execution was better than the work.
You see, he has no ear at all.
A little to the left, if you please. I believe I see a cephalopod among the weed.
I dare say I've been in command too long, Stephen.
Oh, for all love, what more can you desire? You say belay, and he belayeth. I could do no better myself. Do not tell me you're dwelling upon whom.
No, no.
Dread of the French?
Certainly. They make my heart die within me.
The cephalopod is gone, the thief. Row gently, Joy, and I shall tray you on my little net. What is it in your mind?
The possibility of a pendant.
I do not understand you.
A pendant And what comes with it?
Brother, the ship is at this moment a perfectly good pendant. Surely you must have noticed it.
What I mean is the broad pendant.
We shall row clean through a weed if you go on at this unconsidered pace.
The Commodore's broad pendant, Stephen. What comes with it is high command.
I believe I said when I wrested you from your Sophie and your little bald-headed children that you should lead a squadron, did I not?
You did. But as we get nearer to the Cape... Do you see? You are bred up to the command of a single ship. It becomes natural. And with it, playing the great man. The loneliness.
I've heard you speak of this many times.
But high command comes sudden, without experience. Each of the captains under you is God the Father of his own quarterdeck. You can neither choose them, nor get rid of them.
Slow, Jack. That is a seahorse.
Nelson could do it. Easy as kiss my hand. A band of brothers, you know? But handle them wrong, and you have the devil to pay.
So, that is Africa.
By the mark! 15! Pangolins, Mr. Farker. Camelopards. The peerless aardvark.
Mr. Johnson, I believe you may begin to reduce sail.
Reduce sail, sir. Clew up the main and forecourses there!
That's flat rock, Mr. Farker. That's what we call Noah's Ark. Far over there is Seal Island. You will like that, Doctor.
Birds without number, the ostrich at their head.
Yeah, and there is the Cape of Storms itself, I make no doubt.
Far astern now, sir. We came round precious close in the night. Now, here on the larboard bow... No, the larboard, Doctor. You have Simon's Bay. The moment we have Admiralty House Square, we'll begin our salute.
Would that be a line of battleship?
Oh, I doubt any 64 would stand in the line nowadays, sir.
Nevertheless, it is a most imposing vessel.
She is the Raisonnable, built 50 years ago. Were she to fire a full broadside, I dare say she would fall to pieces. Indeed, we carry a greater weight of broadside metal, though Boadicea is but a 38.
You astonish me, sir.
She will be part of our squadron, as will the two 36s to leeward of her. Sirius and Nereid. And that little old brig of war, the Otter.
Flag signalling, sir. Captain, repair aboard flag.
So prompt. Truly, there is never a moment to be lost.
Acknowledge, Mr. Johnson. And pass the word for my coxswain.
I am sorry, sir. He is drunk.
Damn him. She'll look a proper flat. Summoned to meet Admiral Bertie without my right barge crew.
How can the Admiral possibly know?
Mr. Farker, that is exactly the job of an Admiral. Carry on with the salute, Mr. Seymour.
Bar one!
Here you are at last, Aubrey.
Sir.
I'm very happy to see you.
How do you do, sir?
I dare say the papers are for me.
Yes, sir.
Well, come along. We'll have a look at them in the cabin. Well, you must have had a tedious passage of it.
Tolerably so, sir.
But did you have any luck on your way down, eh? They used to call you Lucky Jack Aubrey in the Mediterranean, I remember.
We saw barely a sail, sir. But we did have a little brush off the dry salvages.
You take anything? Here we are.
The Hebe, sir. 28. Our old hyena. She'd been playing old Harry with our trade for a few weeks, but we clapped a stopper over her capers.
Well, I'm heartily glad of it. I was a midshipman in her before the age of carronades, my God. Oh, damn these seals. Sit you down, Aubrey.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I've been expecting these. I shall send to the governor at once. You cannot be too careful with these political gents. You have one aboard yourself, I see.
Mr. Farker, sir. He is to be the new governor of the Mauritius.
Once you have taken them, eh? Well, I trust your luck will hold, Aubrey. Things are worse than ever they were before you left England. The French have snapped up 2 more homeward-bound Indiamen.
Lord, sir. That is very bad.
Yes, it is. They were worth a mint of money. And it will get worse yet unless we can bring it up with a round turn, and smartly too. Now, You know Rodriguez?
I do, sir, though I have not touched it.
We have seized and garrisoned it for you as a base. You can water there. It's only 300 miles west to Mauritius.
May I ask what intelligence we have of the French, sir?
They are Venice, Mons, Caroline and Boulogne. New 40-gun frigates, all of them. They also have Canonniere, 50, but she's old. The Grappler, she is a brig they took from us. Several avisos and a few smaller things.
A powerful squadron under the right command.
The frigates are a scourge, Aubrey. Separately or in pairs, they are ranging across the whole damned Indian Ocean.
How much of the eastern trade can we convoy, sir?
Not enough. We do not possess the ships. You can't catch the French at sea. They could be anywhere. So you must either destroy them in detail in their home waters or take their bases away from them. They are using Port St. Louis or Port Southeast in Mauritius, St. Paul in Réunion, but you can't blockade them forever, Aubrey. You don't have enough ships either.
What do I have, sir?
Well, Boadicea, of course. Sirius. Captain Pym. Regular as a clock, Pym. Nereid, only a 12-pounder and getting on in years. Corbett keeps her in fine order, though he is rather undermanned. Otter, too, is in very good fettle. Lord Clonfert has her.
Oh, I know Clonfert.
Do you now?
We served as lieutenants in the Agamemnon.
A very dashing officer, even if he does have strange notions of dressing his men. Otter is a fast, useful 18-gun sloop, and he handles her well. Raisonnable, too, I can give you, though not in the hurricane months. She cannot bear a hard blow. So, in the general way of things, 3 well-worked-up frigates and a powerful sloop should not be reckoned out of the way to deal with 4 Frenchmen.
Certainly not, sir.
I have to warn you, Aubrey. Should you hoist your pendant, I cannot let you have a captain under you.
I should not expect it, sir.
This will be a tough nut to crack. But cracked it must be, and at the earliest possible moment. Go in and win. There is probably a knighthood for you. A baronetcy, even. Should you like a baronetcy, Aubrey? And if you fail, well, it is the beach and half pay for the rest of your life. Where did you find the flowers?
Up a mountain.
Where are they?
Dissa grandiflora.
Orchids. Will you take away a drink?
Thank you. I believe I'll stay with my negus.
I am Macadam of the Otter. I saw you at the hospital this morning.
Maturin of the Boadicea. What is it that you have in your bottle, colleague?
A brandy they distill hereabouts. Raw, rot-gut stuff. I drink it experimentally, not from indulgence.
Indeed.
Indeed, yes. Strabinius and others allege that a man dead drunk on grain spirits, be they whiskey or vodka, will fall over backwards. On brandy, he falls forwards.
Were that true, it would tell us something interesting about the motor center.
This is my 3rd bottle.
I honor your devotion to science, sir.
I give not a fart in hell for science. Medicine is an art, or it is nothing. Medicine of the mind, that is, proper medicine. For what is your physical doctrine but a pack of murderous chirurgical tricks?
The tricks often appear to work, sir.
They may with luck suppress symptoms, but no more. The true funds at Origo of 9/10 of your vicious constitutions of the body, the mind. And what heals the mind? Art. Art is my realm, colleague.
True it is, I have observed a number of inexplicable remissions. They may be said to derive from the spirit or the mind of the patient. Equally, many a man has let go his hold on life as if decided.
Tell me now, have you ever remarked upon the inverse relationship of constipation and cowardice?
Was that not in your book on hysteria?
You've read it, sir?
With great applause.
My patients aboard the Otter would make up an informative volume in themselves. Most of them, sensu stricto, are mentally deranged in one form or another.
Really, most of them?
One in particular. In case I should describe a name, were it not for professional secrecy, a fascinating and positively subtle chain of symptoms.
You've fallen sideways, colleague. I shall note the experiment as inconclusive.
My fool of a steward has broken the coffee pot.
And it is a crapulous morning for us both.
I could not get back aboard until late in the middle watch. 20 miles I rode for an interminable drinking conference with the governor. Pack of generals. Remarkably stupid even for foot soldiers. More than 20 miles. All on a damn screw that flung me down 3 times and spoiled my best Nanking trousers.
Met with Barrett Bondon on my way back to the ship last evening.
Did you? I had no idea old Bondon was here.
More yet, he is in companionship with preserved Killick. Aboard the Nereid they are. And both of them wish to return to you.
Oh, how very, very pleased I am. It will be like old times.
All tastes are to be found in nature, we're told. It is to be presumed that they like the brutal, arbitrary and tyrannical exercise of power.
I shall have a coxswain that is not inveterately drunk, and a steward that breaks no damn coffee pot.
Bondon was so good as to row me home.
You know, I've rarely regretted anything so much as having to part with them. Mind you, will Corbett ever let them go? He is devilish short-handed, and a man like Bondon is worth his weight in gold.
Captain Corbett seems to think not. Bondon was moving stiff from 50 lashes.
What? Flogged Bondon?
Mm-hmm.
Flogged my coxswain? By God, Oh, Stephen. My head seems to be made of hot sand.
Sure you can order Corbett to release them.
My orders have not arrived. No word about my pendant. So here I am, hanging up in the air. Perhaps the Admiral does not intend I should command at all.
Perhaps we might borrow the gunroom's coffee pot. You'd feel better then directly.
Yes?
Mr. Seymour's compliments, sir. The Commander-in-Chief's flag lieutenant has been seen putting off from the shore.
Admiral Bertie desires me to say, sir, that he was taken unwell just after last night's meeting.
Ah.
Yes, sir. He was therefore unable to give you your orders as he had intended, but he has dictated them to me this morning from his bed.
So, you know what is in them, I dare say?
I do, sir. And may I be the first to wish you joy of your pendant.
August the 18th. Boadicea, at anchor in Simon's Bay. At 4 p.m, hoisted the Commodore's broad pendant and took salute. At 5 p.m, summoned aboard the squadron's captains.
Give you joy of your pendant, sir.
Allow me to offer my felicitations also, sir.
No more fitting a man to fly it, sir.
Why, thank you, gentlemen. I am happy to see you. And to tell you that the squadron is to proceed to sea with the utmost dispatch. I should be obliged for a general notion of each of your ship's states of condition and readiness. Captain Pym.
The Sirius is well found in general, sir. She badly needs careening, though, and we are having a great deal of trouble with her water tanks. They leak amazingly.
You have those newfangled iron affairs, do you not?
And a damn trouble they are. If there is one thing I detest more than the enemy, it is innovations. We have rummaged her hold to come at the tanks, but even working double tight, sir, and with the best will in the world, we can scarcely be ready for sea before Sunday.
Very well. Captain Corbett?
Nereid is fit to sail the moment she has her water fill, sir. As you know, she is old. My carpenter tells me her naval futtocks could be removed with a shovel. She's also certainly iron-sick, both fore and aft. I'm 63 hands short of my complement.
Oh, that is a very shocking figure, to be sure. But let us hope the next homeward-bound Indiaman will put in and solve that difficulty.
You are forgetting, sir, the company's ships no longer touch at the Cape, not since their late disagreement with government.
Very true, Lord Clonfert. Thank you. And how is it with the Otter?
The sloop I have the honour to command, sir, is always ready to put to sea.
Jack. Jack, I have been sadly remiss.
You have whipped the wrong leg off a patient.
What? Oh, always this whipping off of a leg. It's my belief that for you people, the whole noble art and science of medicine is summed up in the whipping off of legs.
In what way, then, have you been remiss?
You are become the great man. Virtually an admiral.
Well, I am Commodore, Stephen.
Give you the joy, my dear, with all my heart.
I did mention it before. If you recollect, I have spoken once or twice of my pendant.
So you did. But in my ignorance, my deplorable ignorance indeed, I believed the pretty flag of leadership was connected with the vessel rather than with the man. The man was the senior captain that led the squadron. But now I find that you are promoted. And I give you joy.
Stephen, if I explain, will you attend?
Yes, sir.
You have not attended in the past, Stephen, when I have told you about the Navy. Only yesterday I heard you give Mr. Farquhar a very whimsical account of the difference between the half-deck and the quarter-deck.
Was it not right?
It was not. Now, this Commodore lark. I am not, as you seem to believe, promoted at all.
Not?
No. Commodore is not a rank, but a post. J. Aubrey does not shift from his place in the captain's list by so much as the 100th part of an inch.
A post, you say?
I hold it for the time being. But during that time being, if you follow me, I am, as who should say, an acting temporary admiral.
That must warm your heart.
And as you have understood, I command the squadron. I should not say this to anyone but you, Stephen. In this enterprise, I have to depend upon others.
You mean your subordinate captain?
That is what high command amounts to.
I know your scruples, Jack, and I honor them. Yet believe me, brother, when I say that this is no time for them. Our orders are to work openly together. I the politics and you the force. We must speak openly. Do you look for full, unreserved support from these men? From the Admiral, let's start with him.
Bertie is a jolly old boy. Not the lively, wenching captain I knew in Port of Spain, but he's been as kind and obliging to me as I could wish. Confirmed at once my acting order as lieutenant for Johnson. That was a most handsome compliment.
Come, Jack, be free with me.
He will back me to the hilt, I make no doubt. So long as all goes well, for it is entirely in his interest. He dearly longs to be a baronet. By God, he does.
Let us imagine you make a mistake. What then?
I should not be surprised to find myself again plain Jack Aubrey, captain.
You have no very high opinion of Admiral Bertie's heart.
His head is clear enough. You know, he has added a trifling paragraph to my orders, which means he is cut into a share of any prize we take. But I would not go so far as to disparage his heart.
No. What else afflicts your spirits, then? Corbett, I dare say?
A slave driver.
The beetle within has quite eaten up the man.
I like a tight ship, and of course a clean ship. But the Nereid is total perfection.
To the extent that it oppresses you?
I inspected her. I saw the mute sullenness in her crew. Her officers anxious, jaded, harassed. I say not a word against Corbett for courage, mark you. He's proved that time and time again. And it was Nelson himself had him made post, you know. Nelson saw something. And with the odds as they are, I cannot do without the Nereid. Or Corbett.
What do you say to the captain of the Sirius?
Oh, I wish I had 3 more Pims and 3 more Siriuses. There would be your band of brothers for you. As it is, I shall have to humour Corbett to some degree. And how I shall manage it with Clomfert, I cannot tell.
Yes, an odd man is that. I've met his ship's surgeon, a much-what learned mad doctor. William McAdam had a number of valuable observations to make upon the states of mind amongst the otters.
Well, it's an ugly thing to say of any man, that you have doubts about his conduct.
But you have.
I cannot put them out of my mind, Stephen. Though the otter is like the royal yacht for perfection. Then Clomfert will dress his men like a pack of jack-pudding Merry Andrews, and that ignorant boasting. Admiral Bertie rates him high, mind. He's carried out some creditable raids in these waters, cut out any number of prizes from under the enemy's nose.
Yet you doubt it. We shall see. Then how do you rate the odds, Jack?
3 to 5 in the enemy's favour. Were we in our home waters, it would be very different. I shall reckon them more accurately once I catch sight of the French at sea.
Once you've had a brush with them, you mean?
No, once I've seen them. Even hull down on the horizon.
You could judge of their capabilities at so remote a view?
Of course. What a fellow you are, Stephen. A great deal can be told from the way another sailor sets his jib or goes about or flashes out his stunsails. Just as you could tell a great deal about a doctor from the way he whips off a leg. Boadicea, September the 3rd. 22 degrees 50 south, 55 degrees 20 east. Sea moderate, winds ditto, south by east. At 3 p.m., squadron exercised the great guns by ship, shooting at targets.
4 minutes and 5 seconds, sir.
Did you see any hits, Mr. Seymour?
No, sir.
Which was the fastest? After us, of course.
Otter, sir. 3 and 5 minutes.
Hits?
None, sir. One ball did just skip over the target.
Very well, Mr. Seymour. Signal tack in succession as soon as the guns are housed.
Is your mind oppressed by melancholy thoughts, brother?
I hate this vile scheme of yours.
You have frequently mentioned it, and each time I have replied that the people and the information I seek are of essential importance.
The enemy has a large proportion of Irish troops among his forces on La Réunion. In addition, the slave population is very susceptible of inducement.
And what's more, the risk is negligible.
So you say?
I walk 200 yards along a strand. I call it a house of which I have an accurate drawing. I meet a man of inestimable value, receive my information, deliver these documents.
Their extreme tenuity renders them edible.
As tradition doth require, I walk back to the boat and thence to your swift sailing machine. I join you with the blessing for breakfast.
And yet, not so many years ago, I had to fetch you out of Port Mahone after just such a mission.
Minorca was entirely different.
You were more dead than alive.
I had been undermined at home. Here, the possibility does not exist.
These inshore waters are hellish dangerous, too. Surf, reefs.
Captain Clonford knows the shores very well, Commodore.
But so does the coast know him, sir. It needs but a fishing boat or a viso or watchman on the cliffs to see the otter standing in.
I do not see that there is anyone else better suited.
No, sir. But I shall give Clonford absolute orders to return immediately if he cannot at once make out his landing. And Stephen, if the scheme goes wrong, I cannot land a party to take you off again.
You would be mad yourself to attempt any such thing. Jack, would it be uncivil at all to remind you that time waits for no man? This also applies, they tell me, to the tide.
I hope to God they are right. Good morning, Stephen. You look as pleased as Punch. The trip was to your liking, I hope and trust.
Most delightful, I thank you. Look.
Well, it is a prodigious fine egg, to be sure.
Nothing less, Jack, than the concrete evidence of the albatross's gigantic love.
Light along breakfast for the doctor. Bear a hand there.
Other things I have with me, but nothing in comparison. This, for instance. This is no more than a vulgar pole parrot of the common green or West African species. It is also too loquacious for its own good. The cloth bag, on the other hand, contains some of the finest coffee I have ever tasted.
Ah, you are the saviour, Stephen.
I find it grows to great advantage upon La Réunion.
Good morning, Commodore. Good morning, sir.
So.
As I say, loquacious to a fault.
You did not spend all your time ashore bird's nesting, I collect.
A straightforward piece of routine, as I told you. Perfectly simple.
But fruitful, I hope.
Oh, yes, Mr. Farquhar. My interlocutor I take to be a wholly reliable source. Exceptionable only in his prolonged retention of this indiscreet fowl. The man has given me a clear notion of the military aspect, which I do believe to be a true statement of the enemy's position. I'm not without hope that it'll give you pleasure, Jack.
Where do we strike?
St. Paul. There we will find the frigate Caroline with her two most recently captured Indiamen. Her inward parts are alleged to require some attention that will keep her there for perhaps a fortnight.
Where are the enemy land forces?
At various points, 20 and even 30 miles apart, over difficult and mountainous country.
The defences at St. Paul?
Batteries and fortifications mounting. Wait, let me see. 9 and 8, 17. I write 7, retain 1. 5 and 5, 10. With the 1 retain, mounting 117 guns. This rude sketch shows their approximate position.
The thing is practicable.
This is the disposition of the troops?
300 or 400 soldiers from Rodriguez would tip the scale.
They could not hold the place against the enemy's 3,000.
That is not the intention, sir. We take the ships, and to cut them out, we must take the batteries.
You'll forgive me, Jack, for labouring the obvious when I say that celerity is everything.
Well, that depends upon getting the soldiers on Rodriguez to move at once.
Lose not a minute, then.
How delighted we all are to see you coming in, sir.
Colonel Keating! Aubrey, commanding the Mauritius Squadron.
You'll not remember me, sir, but I was at a dinner given in your honour in Calcutta 4 years ago.
Certainly I remember you.
After your magnificent defence of the China fleet.
I'm very happy to see you again.
Likewise, sir. We have been so cruelly bored on this dismal rock. Reduced to tortoise races. Nothing to shoot save guinea fowl.
Then I believe I can offer you some better targets, Colonel.
I could be broke for stirring, you know.
That might make a man hesitate.
Hesitate as the officer commanding the company's troops on Rodriguez. Not as Harry Keating. It was never imagined that I should move before the monsoon, when the main body arrives.
I cannot wait for them. Still less for help from the Cape.
Then the company loves you, sir, like a son. So I might equally well be broke for not falling in with your plan of campaign.
Well, I see no difficulty, then.
But for this question of landing through the surf.
Well, I cannot pretend to be well acquainted myself with the western side of La Réunion. Captain Corbett.
300 days in the year, sir, the wind stays in the southeast. A landing north of St. Paul in such an event will be as easy as kiss my hand.
I have to tell you that my men are not clever in boats.
Lord Clonfert?
Even with a westerly wind, sir, I would undertake to set 1,000 men safe on shore. I know a sheltered cove hard by the St. Giles Inlet.
Welcome.
The Pointe de Galet is the better place.
Corbett, that is 7 miles from St. Paul.
A surer spot and an easy march.
Of 3 hours and more, when time will be of the essence.
Commodore Aubrey is likely to attach more weight to the opinion of a post-captain with a real knowledge of these waters, Lord Clonfert.
The St. Giles Inlet is the obvious choice.
No one but a blockhead would attempt anything other than the Pointe de Galet.
My native pilot knows the gaps in the reefs.
A captain who relies upon an escaped slave.
That slave, sir, has taken me where you could not go.
Commodore Aubrey, many years of service have I spent upon this station, this war and the last. I think I have the advantage of a junior commander, sir.
My choice will accord with yours, Aubrey. If you will forgive me, I will prepare my men to strike camp.
Of course, Colonel. Captain Corbett.
Sir?
We will fix upon your landing place. You will oblige me by agreeing with Colonel Keating about the transporting of his men aboard the Nereid. Now, if you please.
At once, sir.
Lord Clonfert.
Sir?
I am exceedingly concerned that this display of ill feeling should have taken place in the Colonel's presence. You forget the respect due to senior officers, sir. This must not occur again.
There's the strange look about you.
A strange feeling, too. Keating's troops have 7 miles to march. And all we can do in the meantime is to stand in quietly under topsails for St. Paul.
Hard the waiting.
And long. I've been watching the hourglass since we reduced sail in the middle watch.
Yeah. The long journey of the sand. Millions of grains tumbling till the top is empty. Another bell. Turn the glass. Grain by grain.
But so far, the timing has been perfect. Corbett will have just enough light to see.
You dislike the man.
I believe in his knowledge of the coast. The dust will soon begin to fly, and what I shall do is just lie there in St. Paul's Road. This has never happened to me before, Stephen. The other men will do the work. I find I don't relish it.
You will have given the orders, my dear.
Yes. And to be sure, Sophie would approve my safety.
She would also beg you to drink your coffee while it is hot.
This is your high command for you. I'm not so sure if it is really leadership.
The enemy fort is that way, at the double! Never mind the grave! Tear on into them! Onward! Up the descent!
Auto signalling, sir. Enemy in sight bearing due east.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Reply, stand in, and to the squadron, make more sail.
Stand in and make more sail, sir.
I hope the wind will not come foul at last. You'd better go to the cockpit, Doctor. In 5 minutes, we shall be within range of the enemy batteries.
We'll see you in the town square then.
Shut the bowlines there!
1, 2, 3!
Wavering! Now, Marines! Charge! Sauvekeeper! Tout est perdu! Force sauvée! Sauvekeeper! Sauvekeeper! Run up the colors! Let Aubrey see what we have done! Concentrating her fire upon us, sir.
Note the time! 17 minutes after 8!
Shall we reply, sir?
No, Mr. Johnson! I will not risk hitting our own people on the dock just behind us! Admirable practice!
Carpenter reports 4 foot of water in the well, sir.
Ship the pumps, Mr. Seymour! As soon as the church and the tower there are in line, we will go about! Mr. Johnson, to the squadron! Tack in succession at the gun! And then, close engagement!
Their line is breaking! Now, boys! Follow them up the hill! Hunt them down!
Breaker again! If you please, sir. The last shore battery has struck its colours.
The Caroline cannot survive this pounding much longer, grounded as she is. Look at him going at her!
The Carpenter reports 6 foot of water in the well and holding, sir.
She will do, Mr. Seymour!
The Caroline has struck her colours, sir.
Cease firing, Mr. Johnson!
Cease firing, sir. Cease firing! Cease firing there!
Mr. Seymour, pass the word to my coxswain. My barge to be launched, and my compliments to Dr. Maturin. We are going ashore!
Give you joy, sir.
And you, Colonel. And you. You have done wonders, sir. I believe the place is ours.
For the moment, sir. But the enemy is rallying on the hills above the town. My scouts tell me that a column from Saint-Denis is likely to be here by nightfall.
Then we must go to work at the double. The Caroline must be refloated and made sound. The 2 Indiamen have been knocked about a little, but I trust their captains will have them ready for sea before long.
As a matter of urgency, Commodore, we must find the mayor and the chief of police.
A glorious good morning to you, Doctor. Mr. Parker.
And to you, Colonel.
Might we beg an officer and a few soldiers, sir, to help us, sir?
Certainly you may, gentlemen. I should like to hazard that you politicos will be pleased with us.
In what other manner beyond the winning of the battle?
My men have behaved like lambs, sir. Not a maiden has been put to the blush so far, nor so much as a chamber pot looted.
I'm glad to hear it. It is of the first political consequence that St. Paul's inhabitants be well treated.
Any looting, rape, or disorderly conduct will have the most prejudicial effect.
Urbes constituit aetas, hora dissolve it.
They shall be Sunday-going lambs, gentlemen. I will answer for them.
By God!
That will be your friend, Lord Clonfert. His marines took 3 batteries in a most gallant style. They are blowing them up with great dispatch.
Lord Clonfert is a fine, enterprising officer.
Very active. I commend him.
Indeed.
Commodore Aubrey, here is a list of the government buildings it would be a great service to destroy.
Perhaps you could set the estimable Lord Clonfert onto the task.
As you wish, sir.
The tax gatherers' records here are particularly important. If their destruction does not render us beloved, then the Bourbonnais are hard to please. It is well begun, Jack.
I will not say I'm sanguine.
That might not be very clever, no, but you have deprived the enemy of a fine frigate.
Not to say near 120 guns, and his fortifications. Powder and shot to supply us the rest of several campaigns.
Do you recall at all how I asked you some weeks ago how you set the odds?
I do.
You said then 3 to 5 against. Now?
Evens. But soon, Stephen. Soon, I intend to swing them decisively to our favor.
In The Mauritius Command by Patrick O'Brien, dramatised by Roger Danes, Captain Jack Aubrey was played by David Robb, Dr. Stephen Maturin by Richard Delane, Governor Farker, David Rintoul, Lieutenant Colonel Keating, Thomas Arnold, Lord Clonfert, Sam Dale, Captain Corbett, Christian Rodsker, Lieutenant Seymour, Max Dowler, Midshipman George Johnson, Nyasha Hatendi, Dr. McAdam, Sean Baker, Captain Pym, Brian Bowles, Mrs. Williams, Joanna Munro, and Sophie, Sally Orrock. Other parts were played by members of the cast. The director was Bruce Young.
We make a cable's length from the privateer. Then we go at him.
She is quiet, sir.
We shall be first aboard, Mr. Cotton, at this rate. Clonfert's boats are still behind that spit of land.
That is 300 yards now, I think, sir.
Very well, then. Good luck to you, Cotton.
And to you, Aubrey.
Now, men, raise a cheer and stretch out like good uns! Lay straight for a starboard main chain!
The Mauritius Command by Patrick O'Brien, dramatised in 3 parts by Roger Danes. Episode 2.
Keep ahead right at them! Clonfert's boats are taking the larboard! Press hard, boys!
I hear them cheer, but I don't see them, sir!
Is the smoke. They're coming on, make no doubt of it.
Ready the grapples! Axes!
Sir, they're cheering, but I don't think they're moving!
Clonfert cannot look on. He must attack.
I don't believe he intends to stir.
Too late now for us to do anything other than race on.
On, men! Never mind the great Agamemnons forever!
Keep together, you Agamemnons!
Precious hot work, Mr. Cotton! Mine!
They're beginning to fall back, sir.
Buchan, Thwaites, Caramandus to the Quojack halyards! As soon Cotton!
An able, dashing man, then? The Lord Clonfert?
Oh, the Agamemnon was a crowded wardroom. She wearing the flag. The West Indies station is a busy one still.
I'm perfectly aware, Jack, of your dislike of saying anything unpleasant of a former shipmate. even though you now have to rely upon him as a subordinate captain.
It was 10 years ago, Stephen. I hardly knew Clomford then.
You will permit me to say that although I honour your principle in theory, I find it somewhat irritating, having, as it may, a detrimental effect upon our business of sweeping this French squadron from the Indian Ocean.
Lord Clomford has made quite a reputation for himself since our West Indies days.
Did you take the privateer, sir?
Of course. The French captain flung his empty pistols at my head and swam for it, followed by most of his remaining men. Luck never deserted me in those days, Stephen.
Man might esteem himself better served by luck had he been supported by his fellow lieutenant and the other boats.
It was a cruel, bitter little action. I've seen many such since. And afterward, Clomford explained it all.
I was right up against a sandbank, Aubrey. The North Channel proved much more shallow than we had hoped. We found ourselves quickly pinned down by their shore battery.
Cotton said you weren't moving.
Cotton is dead. Oh. You made the most gallant dash, Aubrey. I was in the very act of landing to take the battery from behind when you made your run in. Gallant. Dashing. You must know it would have been suicide, though, for me to have moved.
It did all seem very uninteresting and unimportant. Certainly by comparison to Cotton's death.
You were fond of this man, Cotton?
Boy, really. Yes. I should have been proud to serve with him in any ship at any time. To have such a one as my lieutenant now.
Did you find it strange, when you were fit again for duty, that the official letter should have omitted your name?
You have seen the letter?
I've been well informed.
Clomford was senior to me at that time, Stephen. He had taken over when I was wounded, finished the capture.
And so he exchanged into the Mars, and you forgot it?
I should scarcely have remembered him at all, was it not for the noise the newspapers make of the dashing Lord Clomford.
His court-martial and dismissal from the service, for instance?
I know the officer he struck, Stephen. I would knock the man down myself at half the provocation.
You would not.
We both know the gazettes may suppress truth and suggest falsehood. But they cannot possibly invent victories. The spiking of the guns at Abydos, the destruction of that Turkish squadron.
Yes, Clomford is highly thought of by Sir Sidney Smith. Attaching himself to that somewhat flamboyant gentleman has proved extremely useful.
Smith is a dashing officer.
He gave your man Nelson much uneasiness in the Mediterranean. And Clomford is back in the Navy. Are you in any danger, I wonder, of disfavouring one of your subordinate captains on account of his friends?
Do you accuse me of favouring Corbett? I do not.
I merely posit the question.
Corbett's reputation is beyond reproach. For all the man is a slave driver. The French fear him. Pym, too, is a solid fighting captain. But reputation is not always to be relied upon, Stephen. Not when the enemy is roaming unchecked about the sea, snapping up Indiamen as easy as kiss my hand.
I have offended you.
No. Not in the least, Stephen. But I have to handle these people right. Yes, I confess. I have made a poor start with Clomford. At the first gathering of my captains, I asked him for a statement of the Otter's condition.
The sloop I have the honour to command, sir, is always ready to put to sea.
The merest story. Everyone knew it, Clomford as well as the others, the moment it was out of his mouth. No ship can always be ready, whatever hearts of oak may say. And I fear I made our poor start worse during my tour of the squadron.
You are very welcome, sir.
Why, this is the royal yacht itself, Clomford. Never in my life have I seen such a display of gold leaf.
I am sure my officers are pleased to hear you say so, sir. Shall we go to my cabin?
They should not have been listening, Stephen. Not so direct. That underbred open staring as if the officers were just the men in costume. Tailored to perfection though they are.
Was it a little much?
Even the mids had laced cocked hats, Hessian boots with gold tassels. My lord this, my lord that, yes, my lord. But they like him, that is clear. And so do the lower deck otters. Cheerful, smiling.
Did you tell him how he failed to bring his wife to his side as she requested you?
I merely stated that because of an unfortunate misunderstanding about the time, I was obliged to leave Plymouth without being able to take the lady aboard.
Misunderstanding? That is not in my recollection. I mind rather being bundled from a bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. The lady sent to the wrong inn, signals disregarded. Our poor boat made to row as though we were escaping from the Day of Judgment.
What a scaramouche you are, Stephen.
Oh. Well, it's probably as well you kept your explanation short, Jack. Circumstantial details do often destroy a tale entirely.
Well, I am sure that Lady Clonfert will have taken the next Indiaman out.
She will be in much the greater comfort.
I do beg your pardon, Commodore Aubrey, sir. Would you sit down? I have grown so used to Eastern ways, I cannot do without my sofa.
If it is all the same to you, Clonfert, I should as soon keep an eye on the Boadicea's boats. The Simon's Bay yard has rooked me blind on powder and shot, and I should like to be certain it all reaches my ship safe.
Should you care to taste a little of this Constantia, sir? And do toy with an Aleppo fig. Here, I conceive they make an interesting combination.
Infinitely obliged to you. But the fact of the matter is, Sirius has already given me a great deal of capital port. And Nereid a great deal of capital Madeira. What I should really prize beyond anything is a cup of coffee.
Oh, I am chagrined, sir. It is not possible. I am mortified, desolated, but I drink no coffee, nor do my officers.
Never mind. This is an uncommon fine tusk.
With submission, sir, I believe horn is the proper term. It comes from a unicorn. Sir Sidney shot the beast himself and most generously gave it to me.
So I can boast of having held a true unicorn's horn.
You may take your oath on it, sir.
Has it occurred to you that he may have thought it true? Admiral Smith is a vain and boastful man, quite capable of that foolish tale.
He is also a noble and most enterprising officer. He defeated Bonaparte at Acre. Few men have grounds for such boasting.
Then perhaps Clonfert is of that strange build.
I hope so, with all my heart. But a narwhal's tusk is a thing I can recognize at 50 paces, Stephen. Never mind. So long as Clonfert produces something like Smith's results, he may show away with all the unicorns in the world.
Sponge out!
Otter, September the 3rd. 20 degrees 50 south, 55 degrees 20 east. At 3 p.m., all hands to exercising the great guns. The best display yet of our gunnery practice. Moderate seas, winds ditto, south by east.
2 minutes and 15 seconds, my lord.
It was nearer the mark. We should have waited for the top of the roll. Be quick to the load now, my boys! We'll have another 2 broadsides if we go at it. How did Aubrey?
Boadicea fired 3 and 5 minutes, my lord. 2 within 1 minute and 55 seconds, and battered their targets to pieces.
We must make a brave show, Mr. Tompkinson. Put out a good display for Aubrey, I beg.
Load your powder!
We shall, my lord.
And a ribbon for the crew that hits first! September the 7th. At 10 a.m., a council of war upon Rodriguez to plan the attack of St. Paul Harbour. Commodore Aubrey much in want of advice.
I see no real difficulty, Colonel.
There remains this question of landing through the surf.
Well, I cannot pretend to be well acquainted myself with the western side of La Réunion. Fortunately, 2 of my captains know the island intimately. Captain Corbett?
300 days in the year, so the wind stays in the southeast. A landing north of St. Paul in such an event will be easy as kiss my hand.
I have to tell you that my soldiers are not clever in boats.
Lord Clonfert?
Even with a westerly wind, sir, I would undertake to set 1,000 men safe on shore. I know a sheltered cove hard by the St. Giles Inlet.
The Pointe des Galets is the better place.
Corbett, that is 7 miles from St. Paul.
A surer spot and an easy march.
Of 3 hours and more, when time will be of the essence.
Commodore Aubrey is likely to attach more weight to the opinion of a post captain with a real knowledge of these waters, Lord Clonfert.
The St. Giles Inlet is the obvious choice.
No one but a blockhead would attempt anything other than the Pointe des Galets.
My native pilot knows the gaps in the reefs.
A captain who relies upon an escaped slave.
That slave, sir, has taken me where you could not go.
Commodore Aubrey, many years of service have I spent upon this station, this war and the last. I think I have the advantage of a junior commander, sir.
My choice will accord with yours, Aubrey. If you will forgive me, I will prepare my men to strike camp.
Of course, Colonel. Captain Corbett.
Sir.
We will fix upon your landing place. You will oblige me by agreeing with Colonel Keating about the transporting of his men aboard the Nereid. Now, if you please.
At once, sir.
Lord Clomford.
Sir?
I am exceedingly concerned that this display of ill feeling should have taken place in the Colonel's presence. You forget the respect due to senior officers, sir. This must not occur again.
Commodore Aubrey has given me the precious gift of 2 hours and a boat. I was to observe Taffaray's starling. Particularly rare, but no sooner do I set foot into the launch when I'm summoned to the Otter for present advice.
I believed that you wished to see this case in its crisis, Dr. Maturin.
What is it then, colleague? A fit? A catalepsy?
This is it, goddammit. It tear my guts out crisis, too.
Lord Clomford is in considerable pain.
I am in 3 minds about it at the least. Oh, colleague, it is a blessed relief to have you to consult with. Dr. Maturin is here, my lord.
Oh. Doctor, you are most benevolent. I'll proceed to the examination, if I may. Vastly obliged.
I have thought to try Lucatellis's balsam.
Does this hurt, sir?
Firmum sur next to the animist.
In exiguum amplitudinis?
Nihil in gratium.
I am desolate, Doctor, to receive you in this condition. Have you ate much today, sir? Oh, little fruit. And there? Oh, God! Oh.
The iliac passion, perhaps?
No, McCann. Nearest quacksalver would not make such a diagnosis. Not worthy of you. Well, sir, if you please drink this draught down, it will help. I hope so. There now. No! Oh. I incline to colonic spasm. Oh. Lord Clomford, if you would lie back. Yes. Yes. You've known him a great while, I collect?
Sure. I knew him as a boy. I treated his father. I've sailed with him these many years.
I believe you may do well to exhibit Helleborus niger in the amount of 20 minims.
That is an heroic dose.
It is an heroic patient, is it not?
That it is, sure.
Add 40 drops of Thibeg tincture and 60 of antimonial wine, accompanied naturally by a little Armenian bowl as a temporary expedient.
Will it suffice?
I've known it answer in tormina of a less intense kind. Does he sleep?
It does. The blessed laudanum. Now, where would you be carrying that in your personal box, colleague?
This is an interesting case.
Is it not? It is up here. That is where the trouble lies, Dr. Maturin. Up here. You see, this was all brought on by your Captain Aubrey's checking of him.
I'm inclined to agree with your rejection of a physical cause, but Aubrey...
He called my lord to order. It was meant to be private, but... Oh, Corbett is bad enough for him, but Aubrey... Do you want a drink?
I do not. Can you speak to peccatum illud horribile inter Christianos non nominandum?
No, certainly not.
I've known it produce strange sufferings.
No, there is repeated venereal commerce with the other sex.
That's not necessarily a bar to the other.
Healthy and repeated, and always has been. The women flock to him, though certainly he is affected more by the men, so far as his crises go.
He minds what men do, you mean?
I have never met Aubrey, but I have heard of him. Oh, aye, often and often, long before he ever came out to the Cape.
He speaks of him.
Every piece of service gossip, every mention in the Gazette. Oh, the great frigate captains, Cochrane, Pellew, Aubrey. You cannot leave them alone.
He is envious?
They're every doing compared with his own. Analysed, diminished, magnified, praised, decried. Like a man cannot but peck at a wound that will not heal. Be damned to his whimsies. Why does he have to be always Alexander?
Stretch out, boys!
September the 20th, 1809. At 5 a.m., Boadicea, under topsails, laid in for St. Paul Harbour on La Réunion. At 6, signalled Otter to commence attack upon enemy fortifications on La Neuve. Captain Lord Clonfert led his men with great gallantry.
Lay me right down La Neuve's throat! We'll show Aubrey what my otters can do!
There is a great deal still left undone, however.
The wind is veering to westward. We cannot stay much longer.
General de Brully has a column with artillery advancing over the causeway from Saint-Denis, though it will take him 2 days at least.
When he does get here, he can lob mortar shells onto us like sitting ducks where we lie. Soon come, soon go. That is my opinion.
You're right, Corbett. We should not rest easy, though, did we not blow up at least the first 3 buildings on Dr. Maturin's list.
From the political point of view, I should rejoice to see the French archives go up in flames. It would produce such an admirable confusion.
If I may speak, sir?
By all means, Lord Clonfert.
I believe it should be attempted at once. My men have already destroyed 4 enemy batteries and are with child to prove themselves again. Were you to leave me ashore, sir, with a party of Marines and my otters, I will undertake to cross off Dr. Maturin's list for him.
Very well, Lord Clonfert. You have already done most handsomely.
Thank you, sir.
I shall be glad to see you continue your good work.
Aha! There go the administrative buildings. The tax gatherers' records all.
Look at the smoke! Over beyond the arsenal.
Yes.
You know, Stephen, I'm growing almost used to being a spectator.
That is a very pretty conflagration.
Yesterday, when all the others were doing and I not with them, amongst them, I thought I could have hanged myself from the mere misery of not being there. I suppose that is what you paid for command. What is it, Mr. Seymour?
I beg pardon, sir. Mr. Dale of the Streatham Indiaman is in a great taking. He says they're burning his silk.
His what?
The Streatham's chief cargo was £500,000 worth of silk, sir.
£500,000?
It appears that the French stored it in that warehouse.
Signal to Lord Clonfert. Tell him to... Never mind, Mr. Seymour.
Here is Dr. Maturin's list, sir. You will observe it is completed.
Pray tell me, I do not see on this the warehouse you burned behind the arsenal.
The warehouse, sir? I was informed it was government property. A most respectable man, a priest, sir, assured me. Have I done wrong?
Well, I'm sure you acted with the best intentions, Clonfert. But it seems the Indiaman's silk was there.
Sir?
To the tune of £500,000.
My God.
Pray sit down.
My God. I have destroyed £500,000.
Well, I dare say they exaggerate.
My God.
Never mind it, Clonfert. We have anyway saved John Company $3 million in the worth of their recaptured ships. They themselves acknowledge that. And you acted nobly. Nobly. I envied you yesterday on shore as you drove through those batteries. There was glory for you. Are you quite well, Clonfert? Should you like some coffee? Some dry clothes?
I am quite well, sir. I thank you.
I'm glad of it. For it gives me great pleasure, sir, to appoint you to the Nereide. Captain Corbett is to leave her to you, as he is to carry the news of our little victory at St. Paul back to the Cape. I have given him the former Caroline.
May I ask, sir, about the Otter?
Tompkinson, your first lieutenant, may have her.
He will make a fine commander, sir.
I'm sure of it.
You will forgive me, sir, if my thanks are poor. Tongue-tied. This is entirely unexpected news.
The decisive change, sir. I well remember my own step from a sloop to a post ship. There is a full shining glory in it, which your conduct has merited entirely.
I never thought, sir, when we were lieutenants together, I never thought I should be thanking you for making me post.
is the oddest fish. Comfort, I mean. I gave him his step, and you might almost think that I'd done him an injury.
You made him a post-captain advisedly, not from any sudden whim.
Oh, one of them had to go. I sent Corbett away with a plum. He will be much caressed at the Admiralty when he brings our news. I have known brutal captains improve with a lightening of their step.
And in consequence, you've made a post-captain of Clonfert.
Oh, it is rather a case of faute de mieux, as you would say. Perhaps he may lay out popularity more than I think right, but his men will follow him anywhere. Your foremast hand dearly loves a lord.
Should you like to have to rely upon him?
I must use what I have, Stephen, just as I would take advantage of a tide or a shift in the wind. I shall let him take most of his otters into the Nereid. Scatter the Nereids about the rest of the squadron. Corbett made a damned unhealthy ship of his command. At least Clonfert will make her happy. Now, Stephen, are you ready?
Yes. I'm as nimble as an ape today. I imitate an able seaman's climb, Jack, to a nicety.
Boadicea, December the 28th. 57 degrees 29 east, 20 degrees 9 south. At 2 p.m. hove to lie in observation of Port Louis, capital of Mauritius. Wind steady, west-southwest. Seas moderate. A squadron ahead and astern. Just the one more step. The lubber's hole, there. Yeah, there. I have you.
Thank you. I should make myself snug among the stunsails. Your glass. Thank you.
You have the white building?
Flying the tricolour. I do.
That is General Descamps' headquarters. Now, if you come down to the shore, and a little right...
A ship?
That is the Ballone. She's swaying up a new foretop mast, most seaman-like. They're well worked up, these Frenchmen. Not like the poor bottled-up fellows of the Mediterranean or the Channel that rarely come out save to face a beating. So inside Boulogne, you have the Victor. You see the French colours over ours?
Capture her, make no doubt?
Yes. Though indeed she was theirs before she was ours. And now she's theirs again. Not for long, if we have a say in the matter. Inside again.
The French colours over the Portuguese. What can that be?
That is the Minerva. 52. Very heavy frigate, Stephen. No sign of her having been roughly handled that I can see. The Portuguese must have struck at a few shot and a whiff of powder, the dogs.
Now I can see the broad pendant. Their Commodore, their own Jack Aubrey.
Don't they just wish it? That is the Venus. Commodore Hamelin. Ah, she has been handled rough. Bowsprit done in the gammoning, handrails all ahoo. Not a dead eye left on a larboard, hardly, and very low in the water. She must have been caught in the teeth of a right blow. No wonder they managed to bring her in. She should not have got past Pym and Clonfert.
Do you suppose this squadron means to come out at all?
Never in life. It looks like Brest or Toulon, all over again. Steady blockading, until we get down to Salt Horse and Old Weevil's wedding cake. Unless I can amuse them. Make Hamelin believe we are no longer in the offing or in strength.
I believe I see the Nereid's gig.
That damn fool boat's crew. Why does Clonfert have to make such a rarish show of himself?
I've known several other captains dress their crew in odd garments.
There is such a thing as measure.
You do not look forward to the meeting.
Pym and Clonfert have let the enemy slip by their blockade. It is no pleasant thing to have to demand an explanation.
Sir, you well know how difficult it is to bottle up Port Louis tight.
The Venus was gone before ever we reached our stations.
Yet she slipped back in when you were there, Captain Pym. And the Bellone.
In the dark of the moon, sir.
How's that?
The Sirius was closer in than I.
With the wind in the southeast, sir.
I understand Duperret of the Bellone to be a most determined fighting captain.
Oh, that is good to know, Clonfert.
And so she got out. For which I do not blame you, gentlemen. But she took our Victor, and together they seem to have overcome the thumping great Minerva. Then the whole pack of them slipped back into Port Louis. We have not improved the odds.
They have been lucky, sir. With the sea breeze and the tide.
Pym, what do you say?
I take the responsibility, sir, as senior captain.
What I blame them for is for falling out over it. Like a couple of cross dogs, answering short and glowering at one another. Whose fault it was, in fact, I cannot make out.
Does it indeed matter?
All I can be sure of is that they're on wretched terms. Clonfert seems to have a genius that way.
In other ways, too. He's charted most of these coasts and is the source of a surprising fund of information.
Oh, he has real abilities, if only... But I am surprised at Pym. Such an easy, good-natured fellow.
When you've finished with my rosin, Jack? My rosin, I say. Clonfert will suffice for my needs. I should like to begin the work of preparation upon Mauritius. Some well-chosen rumour, some indiscretion in the proper place may conceivably bring your French frigates out to you.
In that case, you may join the Nereid at any time you may choose.
Nereid, December the 29th. At 10, Dr. Maturin brought aboard safely. Set topsails and topgallants, made course southwest. Rising sea with winds freshening, veering west by south.
There you are, Doctor. Sound as a trumpet.
Dr. Maturin, you are very welcome. I trust you are not too shaken up.
I'm not. Many times made such a crossing in the air from ship to ship for the albatross.
Mr. Briggs, signal permission to part company, if you will.
Permission to part company, my lord.
Mr. Satterley, 2 points to the south, I thank you.
Another point or two more would suit, my lord, with this wind, and your permission.
Certainly, Mr. Satterley. Make it so.
You are surrounded by friends, sir, in your new ship, I observe.
It is far better, far more efficient to have been permitted to keep so many of my otters together.
Yeah.
I do miss Tompkinson cruelly, though I should be the last to begrudge him his command, particularly so since his fortunate step owes entirely to my own.
I think I have never seen so brisk and cheerful a ship's company.
Why, thank you, Doctor.
Jocund, even.
We have been together through many a blow. What do you say to my cabin?
A strikingly beautiful room.
Ain't it, indeed? Corbett had it all bare. Scrubbed wood and brass. I have not yet made it quite the thing for a post-captain. Possible in a sloop, perhaps, but a trifle shabby for a frigate.
Yes, I note especially the twin looking glasses.
They give me something to walk between and to look at. I am glad to have the opportunity, Dr. Maturin, to thank you for your most obliging care of Rodriguez that time. My seizure.
I cannot say I did more than my duty or less than my oath requires.
Nevertheless, it is a wretched, unmanly kind of disease. I have begged McAdam to use the knife if it would be of any good.
I think that it would not.
It is distressing. Désolant in the highest degree to have it thought of as nervous. Something like a fit of the mother. McAdam is a worthy man, but he will dwell upon his experiences. His asylum in Belfast failed, you know.
You are not to suppose there is anything in the least discreditable in your malady.
You believe not?
The degree of pain I observed exceeds anything I've seen before in any tormentor, whatever their origin.
That is a curious relief to hear you say so.
It is a grave matter, indeed it is.
I do not suppose the Commodore suffers ever from anything of this kind?
If he did, I should certainly not speak of it, nor of any patient under my hands.
Ah, yes.
You're fortunate, sir, to have such an advisor as Dr. McAdam in daily reach.
Yes, honest McAdam. I believe he is sincerely devoted to me.
I should like, by your leave, to wait upon him presently.
Well, he was somewhat indisposé this morning, Watch, or he would certainly have paid his respects when you came aboard. But we must overlook certain frailties and an unfortunate manner. He will be up and about by now.
How did you find our patient?
In a high flow of spirits. The hellebore answers I collect.
That seems to. I've also tried valerian, and that eases the anxiety in some degrees. But nothing is there that is new. Little scope for my studies in a ship of war.
Manias, surely.
Oh, yes, but they too, Penny. I have not had a decent melancholia from the lower deck this whole commission. The tars have kept far too busy, do you see?
It is a fair commonplace that an active working man is a healthy one.
It is aft you must look for your fine flower of derangement. Aft, with the gentlemen, the pursers, clerks, and schoolmasters, all of them mewed up, more or less alone.
Yes, the solitary. Above all, the captain.
Did he speak of Captain Aubrey at all?
Once only, and in passing. It was a circumstance I found remarkable.
Aye, significant too. He has been on about Captain Aubrey, colleagues, these last few days. On and on.
Did you note the pseudo insignias?
I took particular notice of it since you'd pointed it out. He is obliged to shift his coat after every bout.
Belladonna would doubtless suppress the sweat.
His chest is covered in the marks, each one pale on the right side, from scrubbing away the salt.
The right side alone?
Even so.
Interesting to analyse that. No more grog, I think. This practice, it appears to me, is self-defeating.
I find it helps.
Not the drink. Our patient has to be attacked, I suspect, through his reason.
You're coming into my way of thinking, colleague.
He's a man of some parts.
Some? Many? He should be a great man. Mon Cochrane, Mon Pellew, more even than Nelson.
I can see if the great admiral would not permit of his orders to be questioned upon his own quarterdeck.
If Lord Clonfert suffers his men to play their fullest part, it is that his ship be better managed. Does that not redound to his credit? He should know.
He is a man for whom truth is what he can persuade others to believe. And that leads inexorably to anxiety, the probability of detection, disgrace.
No, the trouble lies much deeper. Your belladonna and your logic are pills from the same box. They can only suppress the symptoms.
Could you not prevail upon him to abandon his striving, nervous excitement, his marching to and fro between his glasses, admiring at each turn his own reflection, his unicorn's horn?
How do you propose I should attain this end, colleague?
I suspect he must gain the unfeigned admiration of those he himself admires.
You're asking me to grant him conventional glory, to be complacent in making him less than the man he is. You ask too much. I will not repair a chronometer with a pickaxe.
Boadicea, August the 6th, 1810. 57 degrees 28 east, 20 degrees 9 south. Blockade of Port Louis resumed at 4. At midday, signalled the squadron's captains to dinner and council. The island's governor-designate, Mr. Farker, and Dr. Maturin in attendance. Gentlemen, I propose to take a hammer to the enemy. Their Boulogne and Minerve are away on a cruise. Our local advantage is therefore 5-2, and it is high time that we take it.
What then do you propose, Commodore?
The Ile de la Passe. It lies at the other side of the island, Mr. Parker, on a reef, at the very end of the only deep water way into Port Southeast. Lord Clonfert knows it well.
It is a devilish channel, sir, narrow, with a double dogleg and any number of banks and rocks in its bed. But I know it, as you say, perfectly.
The enemy expects us in the north. We've been blockading Port Louis for far too damn long. Naturally, we shall strike them at Port Southeast.
Yes. A couple of frigates ought to manage it, sir. We shall have to maintain our blockade, after all.
I'm not to be teaching you business, gentlemen, but here is a vast area with the words canoe passage at high tide. Your channel is a mere lean serpent at best.
It can be done, Doctor. And when the island is seized, the French cannot easily retake it.
If we hold the Ile de la Passe, we deny them their best harbour after Port Louis.
Yes.
I understand the tactical worth of such an expedition, Commodore, but the battles that will win us the island must, of necessity, be fought on land. And the few regiments we possess must somehow be put down on that mainland of Mauritius.
Ile de la Passe then becomes our base for that, Mr. Farker. You will have your governorship, I promise.
It is a beautiful plan.
Ain't it? Now, Colonel Keating is preparing to send some of his Bombay gunners and European troops into the Nereid. They will garrison the place when we have taken it. Dr. Maturin will also be aboard as the governor's agent.
It will be a pleasure to voyage with you again, Doctor.
The Nereid will lead, sir?
Well, Pym, she does possess more knowledge than all the rest of the squadron together.
It must be done by boats, sir, and in the night. A ship standing in against their fortifications would be sadly mauled.
Captain Pym shall command.
Thank you, sir. We shall thump 'em.
I sincerely hope you do, sir, for countless reasons. Amongst them, the fact that I touch neither emolument nor allowance until I enter into my functions.
What a companionable host Lord Clonfert is, I find.
You're not used to living in the company of a civilized man.
That may depend, colleague, upon your conception of civilization.
Have you taken something against my captain, Dr. Maturin?
I've not. He can be quiet without constraint. He can be a gentle, vulnerable creature. His women, no doubt, seem so, and it may be this that accounts for his very notorious successes among them.
Oh, aye, the women.
But when 3 or more men are gathered, or when he's anxious, that intuition fails him completely.
You've spent much time with him. He takes pleasure in your company.
Nothing profits a man like a proper self-esteem. I have real hope that the prospect of resounding action will soon give Clonfert a truer basis for it.
Captain's compliments to Dr. Maturin. There is a mermaid on the starboard bow.
I am glad you saw her.
I've always longed for such a treat. I've searched the lagoons of Rodriguez, but always in disappointment. Till this perfect moment.
It gives me the greatest pleasure to see you happy.
She's no maid, though. Or she has a friend who is none. Do you see her baby?
I do.
Oh, she dives.
Well, I hope that may prove some layoff against my wretched news. Sirius has taken the wind out of our sails. See where she lays.
That's the Union Jack above the fortress.
They must have gained 20 leagues on us while we were beating up in the heavy weather.
Have taken the Ile de la Passe.
If Pym had any bowels, he would have waited for tonight. After all, I did lend him my pilot. But I am forgetting. Should you like some breakfast, Doctor?
You're very good, my lord, but I believe I shall stay on deck. No, seeing another siren. I should not miss one for a dozen breakfasts.
I shall have the food brought to you here.
Good morning, my lord.
You missed the mermaid, my dear colleague.
I did not. I saw the brood out of the quarter gallery scuttle. It was only a manatee.
A dugong, surely?
It is all one.
The whole breadth of Africa separates their respective realms.
And what concerns my studies, the brood is of consequence only in its perfect illustration of the irresistible strength of suggestion.
So it, Lemon. You were looking the other way or half blind.
She was holding a comb. I saw it clear as day.
It was no comb. That was a glass.
Would you listen to their gab down there in the waist?
Not I. Nereid is too chatty a ship to attend to any one conversation. They seem displeased.
Of course. Every man knows the ill luck a mermaid brings. That is not the point. They saw the flash of that wet nipple. They have translated it with total gospel of conviction into a comb or a glass.
I'll fight you for it. Over a chest, you and any two of your fellows.
Men have gone to the stake for less.
You're not worth the effort, you glass-eyed lubber.
You're both of you entirely out. It was a hairbrush.
Sirius, August the 16th. At midday, 7 foot of water in the well and falling. New topmast yard swung up. The dead prepared for burial. At 1:30 p.m., the Nereids' captain came aboard.
May I offer my congratulations, sir?
Thank you, Lord Clonford. It was a bloody little action, as you can see.
I am bound to say, sir, that the Nereid feels she might have been allowed to take part in the fortress's storming.
I really cannot go into all that now. The rule in these matters is first come, first served. The French would be much better prepared tonight if they had observed 2 frigates in the offing all day.
May I ask if Captain Pym has taken any prisoners aboard?
You will be pleased to hear several, Doctor. Nor did the French commandant have time to destroy his signal books. My dining cabin is at your disposal.
What are my orders, sir?
Very simple. You will land your soldiers to garrison the island. You will hold it until you receive further instructions. In the meantime, you will carry out such operations as seem appropriate.
What operations?
You will consult with Dr. Maturin. His advice is to be followed in all matters political. I am ordered north for Port Louis, just as soon as I have buried my men here. You will forgive me, Doctor. I've lost a young cousin.
I'm sorry for it, sir.
The service is a hard one. The man that cannot accept that is better off out of it.
Je vous remercie, madame. Ce traversin de plume de dodo est pour moi une prise inattendue. Mille remerciements.
Run, Doctor!
Weber?
What? Run for the boats. The enemy is in sight.
5 ships, standing into windward. Victor, I can see, leading. Then their big frigate, the Minerve. I cannot make out the next. Doctor, your bolster will not be proof against French fire, no matter how tight you may hug it.
I will not let it go, sir. This precious traversin is stuffed with the feathers of perhaps the last dodo to tread the earth. I paid an ancient gentlewoman a small fortune to secure it, she not wishing to give up the best sleeping aid sent by God to the old.
By God, it is the balloon. Stretch out! Stretch out there! Pull strong!
What do you intend to do?
I shall lure them in. If Mr. Satterley has an ounce of sense, he will already... Yes! There it is! Nereid is hoisting the French ensign and pendant.
This is Enterprise, my lord. This is better than your Cochrane could do.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. We will pull for the fortress, if you please.
The fortress, sir. And stretch out for all you're worth, boys!
There will be time to make ready for them. Pray God they do not turn away. We shall trap them, Doctor! We shall take them!
And so what happened?
I sat there on my bolster in the ford as people ran hither and thither. I've seen actions with you, Jack, that are marked by a quiet, efficient cheerfulness. There was none of that.
Soldiers and sailors often are at cross purposes.
As you and Colonel Keating? No food was served out either. A small point, but one I've observed you always insist upon.
So the ship stood in, and you waiting for them?
She will come around into the deep water. 20 yards from Nereid, no more. They have not smoked us, men! They have not an inkling of what awaits them.
This will be your crowning moment, my lord, your most dashing coup.
Every man poised for my order, Mr. Weber. Once they are under our guns, they can neither turn, nor bear away, nor move any faster.
Victor has made her turn, my lord.
Now, Nereid!
They hauled down our false stolen signals, ran up the English colours, let fly. Single, vast, prolonged explosion.
The Victor would shatter in a minute. At no range, and Nereid's gunners are no slow coach.
And then the deadly time. Minerve came into the channel.
Jupiter! Wait for my order! Wait for my order!
Dr. Maturin! Are you all right? Huh? Are you all right, sir?
My bolster! Here it is!
Lord Clonford says, can you help, sir, with the wounded? Bloody cheering fool of an artilleryman! Pulls down the French flag only to fling it wide onto a burning match tub. The whole upper magazine is gone up.
I need every man that can stand and point a gun. Mr. Weber, I intend to shift to the Nereid and attack Minerve.
She is so much the heavier ship, my lord.
She is not yet clear for action. At the dog leg, she will not be able to turn. We shall have room to luff up and rake her. Rake her again and again, Mr. Weber. How Aubrey will envy us!
He might have succeeded, too, but against all logic, the Bellone chose to come in.
She could have escaped, but she came on. Gallant. Gallant Duperret.
She threw an extraordinary bow wave in such a dangerous channel, fired her full array into the fortress as she passed, then came straight for Clonfert and his Nereid.
Ready the guns to fire again! Mr. Satterley! Luff up to rake her!
Beg your pardon, my lord, but she has cut the spring to our cable.
Back to topsails, Mr. Briggs. Hard to starboard, then. If we slew, we shall never be able to fire into that Frenchman's stern. Nereid, August the 20th, 1810. At 3 p.m., the enemy, having passed by, they anchored in 20-fathom water off the Olive Bank. Nereid having lost her driver boom and 2 upper yards. Captain repaired to Ile de la Passe to reinforce with the returned soldiers. How did you like that, Dr. Maturin? We have them in the bag.
I do not perceive the ships to be much damaged.
Well, if it had not been for that infernal luck with the flag, we should have sunk the Minerve. But if we had, the others would have run. As it is, we have them now, hard up in a clinch.
Will they not be repairing to come at us again?
Not they. I will go back to my ship, send to Pym. If he can spare me just 1 frigate, I will lead in and destroy the whole circus.
Would it not be better to sail the Nereid away from danger and bring down the reinforcements?
Certainly not. Pym ordered me to hold this fort, this island. I shall see it held, to the last. To the last!
Powder and shot to the larboard, guns!
Nereid, August the 21st. At 10, a frigate sighted, rounding Point Desny under full press of sail. That is the Sirius. Look sharp with the signal!
What does it signify, if I may ask?
Ready for action, and enemy of inferior strength. Pym will not queer my pitch again this mission. I believe that is Iphigenia and Magician. Damn me, he has brought the whole blockade with him, Dr. Maturin. I believe we may show you something to compare with Commodore Aubrey. Mr. Satterley! Bring her in as quick as ever you can!
What have you to say, colleague, to our patient's present state of agitation?
I'm at a loss.
In these circumstances, does it pass the limits of reasonable conduct?
I didn't know. I've never seen him like this at all.
You think it morbid?
He may know what he is about. But he may be bent on wiping your friend's eye and damn the whole world, so he does it. Dear God, Maturin, did you ever see a man look so beautiful?
Captain Pym's plan of attack was clear. Made good plain sense.
I should have done little different myself. Never mind manoeuvres, Nelson said. Always go at 'em.
I can see if you would have maneuvered enough not to run aground. Sirius first, then Magician, struck hard more than 400 yards from the French line. Nereid ran in almost alone against the broadsides of 5 Frenchmen.
My God, the mauling she must have taken.
That familiar cry of the wounded everywhere.
Mr. Briggs? Pass the word for Mr. Briggs.
He is dead, my lord.
6 bells. It's impossible we've been at it so long.
Dr. Maturin, may I beg you to give a hand in the order? It seems McAdam has had an accident.
Of course.
I should be most infinitely obliged to you, sir.
Hold in tighter. Tourniquet, man.
Make a line there! Make a lane for the captain!
Clear this man! Do you feel pain, my lord?
He was caught by a great splinter. The gash across his face is great.
I cannot feel anything, Doctor.
Will you save him?
I will. Get back aloft, Mr. Weber.
I am in the best of health.
Better than McAdam, certainly. Bloody alcoholic coma.
Go on deck, Mr. Weber. Lord Clonford, I'm going to cut away your eye.
Your blade is oddly cold.
Sirius, August the 21st. Nereid lying between our ships and the French. We, therefore, unable to fire upon them. At 5 p.m. requested Lord Clonfert to come aboard Sirius.
Him wants me to abandon my men. I'll see him damned first. Tell him I have struck.
Sir, you'll never get up.
My legs are sound enough. I am going on deck. I must do this properly, not like a scrub.
Take care of the bandages on your neck. The carotid artery is laid bare. Do not pluck at the dressing, or you may die within the minute.
It is done, Doctor. I am most truly grateful to you.
My lord, when I've finished here, I wish to go to the Sirius.
What? Do you not care much for a French prison?
The remaining boat is fit to take me, I believe. I beg you will give an order to that effect.
Make it so, Dr. Maturin. I wish you at least may get away. Thank you again.
Boadicea, August the 27th. Dr. Maturin informed us of the loss of the Nereid, Iphigenia, Sirius, and Magicienne in action with the enemy. The two latter burned to avoid capture, having struck upon rocks not known. Fresh breezes and dark, cloudy weather.
Dr. Maturin. I shall not carry the news that you must take, sir. No, not for £1,000.
The launch prepared?
It is. You would oblige me extremely, sir, by carrying a letter. It's for my wife. I doubt I shall see her again this war.
Goodbye to you, Mr. Weber.
Are you for leaving us so soon, colleague? Well, make a land there. Make a land with a great Dublin physician.
I've left your patients as well as I was able, Dr. McAdam.
Oh, have you now? Come you this way, then, till we see.
Half and even more of the ship's company have passed through my bloody hands. It is time for me to go.
Come and see your patient, Dr. Maturin, you whore.
Dear God.
I wanted to comfort him. His colours were struck. He was so beautiful. Aubrey will come, I said. Aubrey will be here, and you shall have your Nereid back again.
Close his eyes.
Never, says he. Not from Jack Aubrey. You told him of the bandage. You bloody whore, Maturin. You told him how. You and you, Jack Aubrey, did it. Jack Aubrey destroyed him.
In The Mauritius Command, by Patrick O'Brien, dramatised by Roger Danes, Captain Jack Aubrey was played by David Robb, Dr. Stephen Maturin by Richard Delane, Lord Clonfert, Sam Dale, Dr. McAdam, Sean Baker, Lieutenant Colonel Keating, Thomas Arnold, Lieutenant Weber, Pip Carter, Captain Pym, Brian Bowles, Governor Farker, David Rintoul, Captain Corbett, Christian Rodsker, Lieutenant Seymour, Max Dowler, Lieutenant Briggs, Nyasha Hatendi, and Midshipman Cotton, Lloyd Thomas. Other parts were played by members of the cast. The director, was Bruce Young. The Mauritius Command by Patrick O'Brien, dramatised in 3 parts by Roger Danes. Episode 3.
Sir, your petition has never before experienced such oppressive usage as we have laboured under the whole length of this our time on the East Indies station. Captain Corbett's capricious temper, on the least occasion, will cause us to be beaten with large sticks, which he has given directions to be specially made. Some men about the Nereid have been beaten 3 or 4 times a day, so that they've been incapable of doing their duty. At times, men are punished with the thieves' cat, and when the skin is broken, Captain Corbett has had salt pickle put upon their backs. Sir, we are the men of the Nereid. January the 8th, 1809, off Madagascar.
Marines, load your muskets! Mr. Noble.
Sir?
Who is the leading man here?
Wilkinson speaks for them, sir.
What is the man that dares to say to me that he will not weigh anchor?
All! All of us for Calcutta!
Are you the leading man then, Wilkinson?
The company will only weigh for Calcutta, sir.
The main-top's cabal does not order this ship, I do! Up anchor! Mr. Noble, put that man in irons.
Aye, aye, sir. Wilkinson, you must come below with me.
Marines, point your weapons. You see the power set against you. Humanity induces me to separate the misled from the guilty.
Wilkinson, you are ordered below.
Which I call you to witness, sir. There is no violence.
I warn you to hold your tongue. This is a very awful time. It shall not go well with you.
No, sir. But we have written to the Admiral at Calcutta. We will have redress.
I will read each man's name from the open list. You will join the officer of your watch, or stay where you are and be considered a mutineer. Ackroyd, Ainley...
Shore liberty is everywhere denied. Sentries are posted about the ship to stop men from running. We're more like a prison ship than a man of war. From gunfire in the morning until sunset, the gangway is attended by a master-at-arms to prevent more than 2 men at a time going to the privy. So some discommode their trousers.
Admiral Bertie at the Cape says he keeps an excellent discipline.
That perhaps tells you rather more about the Admiral than about Captain Corbett.
He was made post by Nelson himself, Stephen. Stepped straight from the bittern into Amphitrite. Lord, what I should give to have had such a step from such a man. I met Nelson the once. Did I tell you ever?
Not above 100 times he asked you to pass the salt.
You will never understand. I believe you do it deliberately.
Captain Corbett, then.
A most zealous officer, has a considerable acquaintance with the waters off Réunion and Mauritius, a tendency to irascibility that is to be regretted.
We humbly beg that the Admiral will take this petition into his most serious consideration and grant us some redress. Either give us another captain or draft us into some other ship.
I will give you 5 minutes to reconsider, then I will fire upon you. I am not swayed from my duty. I persist in it, and you treat it with indifference and contempt. I have orders to leave Madagascar and set course for the Cape. There are but 2 words, obey or not obey.
Beg pardon, sir. But the men are fearful of doing their duty.
Are you also their leader, Robinson?
I have been chosen, sir, by the men.
I am not fearful of doing my duty. Why are they, do they say?
On account of being flogged so often, sir.
2/3 of the ships of His Majesty's Navy do more duty than you are accustomed to.
Sir, if you would leave off beating the men with great sticks and take the knots out of the cat, they will go with you anywhere.
Whilst I'm in command, you will deserve and receive no better treatment.
Then they will wish for another captain, sir.
What? As the 23 that ran at La Plata have another captain? Them that forfeited the first character in the world? That of a British seaman? To become the lowest, a Spanish soldier? I will not go to Calcutta. The Nereid services are required elsewhere. First, to refit at the Cape, then we sail with a squadron to Mauritius. We are to sweep the sea of some Frenchmen. That is our duty. I wish to go home too, but I cannot have my wish. Neither can you.
I'm looking for the Otter. Do you know where she lies?
Otter's paid off at Plymouth Sound.
Terrible shortage of wood here at the Cape, sir. Otter was broke up for kindling last Wednesday week.
Uh-huh. Do not concern yourselves, I beg. We will find her.
Mr. Doctor! Doctor! Get out of the way, you bugger. Dr. Maturin, sir. Bondon,
Good heavens.
do you remember me?
Of course I do remember you, Bondon. Delighted to see you again. How do you do?
Oh, pretty spry, thank you, sir. Hope I see you the same. Shall I take care of this here barrow for you, sir?
It contains the surgeon of the Otter, Bondon. A learned man, though somewhat original. At the moment he is disguised in drink.
Otter, sir? Will she come into Simon's Bay on the turn of the tide? Never you fret.
You move stiff, Barrett Bondon. I trust this is not a wound, or rheumatism from the falling damp. In another man, I should say he had certainly been flogged. That can scarcely be the case with you.
It was 4 dozen at the gangway, all right, sir.
I'm amazed.
And 2 more for luck. Brass on the lock and number 7 gun. Not bright enough.
Amazed. Grieved. Let us row over to the boatis here and I'll give you some salve.
Well, that's all right now, sir. Thank you kindly. Yeah, I was aboard of you this afternoon. You'll find the letter we wrote laying there in your cabin.
A letter? Tell.
Well, this is the way of it, sir. Me and Killick.
Preserved Killick? Is he with you?
Yeah, he's a Nereid too, sir. Yes. Well, we was on the East Indies station when we heard our Captain Aubrey was afloat again. Of course, we wanted to join him.
He'd be very glad to see you. Kindest recollections of you. Both of you.
Was he, though? Huh. Well, we put in our request, sir. And we found ourselves discharged into the Nereid. Captain Corbett. But she's short-handed. Because why? Because the men run whenever they can.
So, are you afraid that Captain Corbett may not discharge you into the boats here?
Which is why we wrote this letter, sir. To you. Being that Captain always liked to hoist his pendant any minute, as they say, and therefore be too busy. We hoped you might put in a good word. Just casual, at the right moment.
Nereid is not altogether a happy ship.
No, sir, she ain't. She's a shot-rolling ship. That's what she is.
Little do I know about the business of sailing, but I have learned that something is very much amiss when at night a crew starts trundling cannonballs about the deck.
Well, I'm not complaining, mighty sir. I can take 50 lashes as well as the next man, I hope. But Killick and me want to get out before things turn nasty.
Speak plain to me, Bondon.
Well, the way they go now, come an action, maybe even a dirty night with no moon, I shouldn't give much, sir, for Captain Corbett's life.
Nereid, at the Cape, August the 13th, 1809. At 11, touring the ships of his Mauritius squadron, Commodore Aubrey came aboard.
Captain Corbett, I may say your Nereid is a most remarkable sight.
Every man jack aboard has been hard at it for your inspection, sir.
Well, you have had the lily gilded, sir. She's perfect. I'm sure your books are in the same way.
May I press you to some of this Madeira, sir? Sweet biscuits are to your left.
Thank you, Corbett. Capital wine. You're very well found in powder and shot, I see here.
Yes, sir. I do not believe in flinging it into the ocean. Besides, your genuine recoil does so plough up the deck.
It does. And the Nereide's deck is smooth and white as a maiden's bosom. But do you not find it answers to have your men handy with the guns?
I've always engaged yardarm to yardarm. When they couldn't miss it, they tried. But I need tell you nothing close engagement, sir, not after your actions.
Still, there is something to be said for accuracy at a distance. Knocking away the enemy's sticks from a mile off, then laying athwart his hawse and thumping him.
I'm sure you're right, sir.
Oh, before I forget it, my old coxswain and former steward are aboard the Nereide. I've jotted down their names. It will oblige me extremely by having them sent over.
Certainly, sir. But I beg you will not think the least disrespect if I venture to reiterate that I'm cruelly short-handed.
So I understand. I do not mean to rob you, Corbett. You shall have more than an equal number from the Boadicea. I shall include a couple of quarter gunners. What have you there?
An unborn porcupine.
Well, that's glory for you. Now, Stephen, would you help me here?
Oh, such mildewed sheets can certainly not be a report on your inspections of yesterday.
They are letters from Sophie. She has never learned to wrap them properly in waxed sailcloth, nor to send copies in another ship.
Nor it would seem to number their pages.
I've tried to disentangle the sequence, but such dates as Friday or after church don't entirely serve. And you're a rare one for making out a secret hand.
Have you a magnifying glass? Thank you. Here I do make out that the old nonpareils had 3 apples apiece, and that the strawberries failed.
Yes, I got that. The children have hair and teeth. Poor little souls. They will look far better with hair.
In this one, she says she is well.
Lord, Stephen, it must have been clippings from their hair.
What?
And I blew them away. I thought it was shakings that had got into the cover.
Surprisingly well. Underlined twice. Has Sophie been ill, the soul?
Yeah, I think old Jarvie was altogether wrong in saying that a sea officer had no business to marry. Yet I can see what he meant. There. A little wisp.
Yes, that is surely the very hair of your children.
I should not be unmarried for the world, you know. No, not for a flag. But you cannot conceive how my mind has been going back to Ashgrove Cottage, when what I should be thinking about is getting my squadron out to sea.
Nereide, September the 7th. Lying to off Rodriguez. At 2 p.m. embarked 368 soldiers of the Honourable East India Company, Lieutenant Colonel Keating commanding. At 4, set courses, topsails and to'gallants. Course west by south for La Réunion. Ordered for punishment Edward Hunt and Michael Purcell, 36 lashes each for straggling. George Leese, Michael Keefe and Thomas Winston, 48 ditto for ditto. Inigo Gardner, 12 for neglect. Fresh breezes and cloudy.
The dawn light on the beach is particularly beautiful, Captain Corbett.
I have not the time to admire it, Colonel. I have near 600 soldiers, sailors and marines to get into barges and cutters and away before the enemy smokes us. Mr. Noble!
Sir?
Close reef topsails and prepare the sweeps. We may need them.
Close reef topsails and sweeps it is, sir.
Nereide, September the 21st. At 5, standing in close to the Pointe de Galet, disembarked the last of our force, the wind being almost dead.
Captain Corbett.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sit, Captain. Colonel Keating speaks very highly of your enterprise.
That is very gratifying, sir.
He attributes the happy termination and ultimate success of a St. Paul mission to your management of his troops' landing. With a celerity peculiar to the gallant Captain Corbett, he says.
I've always endeavoured to carry out my duties, sir.
Well, since we already have a Caroline in the service, I have provisionally renamed our capture the Bourbonnais. But there is nothing provisional in my offering you the command of her.
Thank you, sir.
At the same time, I desire you to proceed forthwith to the Cape with my dispatches. I have no doubt that Admiral Bertie will send you straight home with them. So I will burden you, if I may, with my own personal letters.
Nothing could increase my sense of this command, sir, more than the obliging manner in which it has been given.
We released a fair number of merchant seamen from the French prisons at St. Paul, so I have manned the Bourbonnais with something like her full complement.
May I respectfully ask to take some of my Nereides with me, sir?
I'm afraid I must request you to be very moderate. Captain Clomford is to succeed you in the Nereid. He too will be in need of men.
I shall be moderation itself then, sir.
This is the neatest, completest little victory. The man that carries these dispatches will likely be much caressed by the Admiralty.
You have given me a plum, sir. A ripe plum. I recognize it extremely.
Well, I may perhaps then take the moment to suggest that you consider of the discipline of your new command.
Why, as to that, sir, you've relieved me of a parcel of sea lawyers and skulkers.
Your merchant seamen have been prisoners.
They will learn their duty quick enough.
Yeah, I mean they are not used to the lash, nor to starting with a rope's end, or sticks.
Starting has been customary since I've known the sea.
It is not legal anymore, sir.
What others may think of as cruelty, I believe to be efficacy. It is right and seemly that a captain be bold. To be so demands equally that he be ruthless.
You are both of these things, sir.
The wrath of the lion is the wisdom of God. You're not the first of my brother officers to recommend me to a less rigid system.
You served under Nelson himself, did you not?
I did. And let me tell you of his words to me, sir. Your conduct and perseverance merit my entire approbation. Nelson, sir. I shall prove one day the efficiency of my discipline. The most earnest desire of my heart is to fall in with an enemy of equal or superior force and make of him a charnel house. Did you serve under Nelson, sir?
No.
Have you confronted mutiny? I've faced it, sir, and I've been commended for my zeal and spirit in dealing with it.
I have done neither. It may be that I have not needed to. I beg that you will reflect upon that. I wish you joy of your new command, Captain Corbett.
How happy I am, Aubrey, to see you back at the Cape so soon.
I'm delighted to have returned, sir.
And how very well things have turned out. I sent Corbett straight home with your splendid news. You will have a gazette to yourself, I make no doubt. What a pretty ship she is, too, your Bourbonnais.
I wish our yards could turn them out like that, sir.
What matter, if you young fellows can take 'em ready-made, eh? 4 thumping prizes from St. Paul and half a dozen of little ones. And you tumbled their fortifications about their ears. Farker is cock-a-hoop about it. So far as a dry stick of a man can be cock-a-hoop.
I do not see him here, sir.
I didn't ask him. In any case, he declines all invitations. Drinks no wine, and the water has rotted all the joy out of him. I thought you would rather dine with the eminent men of Cape Town.
Not to mention the beautiful women, sir.
Aye, they're all here, so long as they're white. Archer is plotting for your next mouthful, Aubrey. Once Rodriguez is reinforced, you are to take Bourbon for good and all. Or Réunion, or Ile Buonaparte, as the enemy call it. Damn fools. This chopping and changing of names is typical of your foreign.
That will take 3,000 or 4,000 men, sir.
And you shall have them with the next monsoon. I'm fairly confident, too, of being able to add to your squadron. But I have to humour this Farker, I find. Not that your politicos can really be trusted to do things right themselves, you know. This Dr. Maturin, for example. What kind of a man is he?
Oh, I think Dr. Maturin is quite trustworthy, sir. No, Mr. Collins. You are not, in fact, absolutely required to marry this young lady.
Sir, she...
Still less are you required to marry her at once.
It is true, sir. Her girdle is becoming too tight, she has shown me.
Are you sure this is a direct consequence of your attentions?
She's a clergyman's daughter, sir.
Oh, yes. We have only been at Simon's Bay a fortnight, Mr. Collins.
I have been paying her a lot of attention, sir.
Well, a fortnight is not generally counted enough in these affairs. This may yet prove only an indigestion, a pound or two of beefsteak pudding.
But what am I to say to her, sir?
Nothing, Mr. Collins. For I desire that you will not leave the ship. Wait until we come in from our next cruise.
Thank you, sir.
Worry not. We shall soon be at sea again. I advise you to take this as a warning. Was you to marry every girl you play love tokens with, Boadicea would very soon come to look like the Grand Vizier's floating harem. Boadicea, June the 24th, 1810. At 8:20 stood in to La Réunion at the Grande Chaloupe in support of Colonel Keating. Troops landed from Sirius and Mauritius. Calm, lapping billows and moderate breeze.
You have a charmingly regular line here, O'Neill.
As regular as one could wish, sir. The French have made a very proper disposition of their forces.
And you have a most judicious defense.
The sailors will keep rushing forward, though, taking the enemy outworks before they're due to fall. Now, over on the right there, Fraser and his sepoys have made the prettiest set of approaches. They're only waiting for the word to charge.
Then why do you not give it, Mother of God? They have clearly outflanked the enemy. Where is your galloper?
There is a parley in train, sir.
Parley?
The political gentleman from the ship, the governor's advisor.
Dr. Maturin?
He said he must speak with the French commanding officer, so we beat a chamade and sent him across with a flag of truce. We've been waiting here ever since. Can he be quite right in the head, sir?
Oh, these politicos, you know.
He desired me to keep this shin bone for him.
Oh, yes.
Swore he would not trust it to the French for all the world.
Colonel Keating, sir.
Dr. Maturin, good afternoon to you. We were just speaking of you, sir.
This is Colonel Saint-Suzanne, who commands the French forces upon La Réunion. These other gentlemen represent the civil administration.
Votre servant, monsieur?
From a desire to avert the effusion of human blood, I have taken it upon myself to assure them that honourable terms will be granted by His Majesty's forces for a capitulation, covering the whole island of La Réunion.
Certainly, sir. Monsieur, je vous prie de marcher ce chemin.
This is a damned poor way of being present at a battle.
Am I to infer, Commodore, that you envy an army officer?
From Colonel Keating, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Seymour. You will forgive me, Mr. Farker. My dear Commodore.
Your friend has disappointed us. He has done us out of our battle. As neat a battle as you could wish to see, too. The enemy has accepted the usual terms, honours of war, sidearms and baggage and so on. It is quite out of order. But if you are satisfied, please to come ashore to sign together with your obliged humble servant.
H. Keating, Lieutenant Colonel. Ha! Governor Farker, I give you joy.
Have they surrendered, sir?
They have. And your kingdom awaits you. Or this island of it, at the least.
Africaine, at Plymouth, June the 25th. At 2 p.m., the ship's company being assembled, the captain came aboard. My lords of the Admiralty have communicated to me your petition. I'm given to understand that a most violent prejudice has arisen against me in some of your minds. It is not every captain that begins his new command under the guns of Marines from another ship of the fleet. But you have brought that upon yourselves. You know well enough what the punishment is for mutiny. Certain it is, and sure. The man you attempted to resist is now your captain. Very well. After this, you perhaps expect I should promise not to use the cats. If you do not do your duty, I will flog you well. And so would any other captain in the fleet. I suspect you're a set of cowards. Afraid of a brave man commanding you. But I intend that you should vindicate yourselves. Depend upon it. I will avail myself of the first opportunity of shoving you under the enemy's fire. Prove me wrong if you dare.
Lose not a moment, gentlemen. To echo the Commodore's words, this is the moment. The first flush of victory. With command of the sea, we may concentrate our forces to strike wherever we choose. Furthermore, my colleague, Dr. Maturin, assures me that our efforts at sapping the enemy's morale upon Mauritius are more than likely to be crowned with success.
I hope, Aubrey, this don't mean I shall be denied another battle.
No. Toil and sweat on in the hope of glory, my dear Colonel. You shall have it.
Now, far be it from me to deny patient, laborious staff work, gentlemen. We have seen its gratifying results here upon Réunion. But I must remind you that fortune is bald behind. That time and tide wait for no man.
What is this Farker telling us about fortune? Was she supposed to have the mange?
I conceive he refers to the old tag that fortune must be seized by the forelock. Once she's passed, there's no clapping onto her hair at all. She ships none abaft the ears, indeed.
Oh, I see. Very well put, then. I'm glad he's come to see reason. Your political gentlemen are not overmuch inclined to hurry, I find. But I wish to lose not a minute. Yes, Stephen? To get at the French before their Boulogne and Minerve return from their cruise. A 5-3 advantage must be seized by the forelock,
Farker tells me that if our second campaign should succeed as well as our first, the happy commander will assuredly be honoured. Would you not like to be a baronet, Jack?
I don't know that I should much care for it. Not that I mean the least fling against men that have won a great fleet action. I mean, that is right and proper. They should be peers. When you look at the mass of titles, tradesmen, dirty politicians, moneylenders...
The wild, democratical Jacobin that you are.
My service rank is enough. I am proud of it as Nebuchadnezzar. And if ever I hoist my flag, I shall paint, "Here lives Admiral Aubrey," in huge letters on the front of Ashgrove Cottage. Perhaps I might think differently of the peerage if I had a son. A son. No, I doubt it.
Africaine, July the 3rd. 8 degrees 45 south, 78 degrees 20 east. At 10, commenced punishment of George Parkinson. 36 lashes for drunkenness. Inigo Gardner, 24 ditto for unspeakable beastliness. Joshua Flynn, 24 ditto for disobedience of orders. Thomas Brown, 48 ditto for straggler. Robert Viner, 36 ditto for ditto. Richard Mason, 11 for dirtiness. Thomas Barlow, 12 for ditto.
Stephen! There you are. How happy I am to see you. Another couple of hours and I should have been away from St. Paul with Keating and his men. Why, Stephen, what's amiss?
I must tell you what is amiss, my dear. Our squadron's attack on Mauritius has failed. Port southeast is in French hands still. The Nereide is taken, her captain, Lord Clonford, is dead. Sirius and Magicienne are burned. By now, Iphigenia will certainly have surrendered, and our captured fortifications on the Ile de la Passe will likewise have fallen.
How came you back?
Iphigenia's launch. We had an almost perfect voyage back to La Réunion.
How did we fight?
Clonfert fought the Nereid till she was battered to a hulk.
I'm glad of it. I should be ashamed to have thought him shy.
Jack, I saw blood run over Nereid's deck, not in streams, but in a sheet. I regret to say our other ships grounded in the shallows and were unable to acquit themselves as they should have.
Well, it seems they have the upper hand. Minerve, Boulogne, Astray, Venus, Manche, and now Nereid and Iphigenia. 7. And we have Boadicea. 1. Oh, well, Stephen. We have seen longer odds, you and I.
My dear Captain Corbett, I cannot tell you how much of a relief it is to welcome you to Réunion.
I had orders that the Africaine under my command was to proceed to Madras. There I was to have embarked the forces necessary for our planned invasion of the Mauritius.
Ah, yes, the plan.
Taking water at Rodriguez, I heard of our unfortunate reversal at Port Southeast. I turned back at once.
And thank God you did, Captain Corbett. Thank God you did. No ordinary-minded man would have dared to do it. Deviate from the orders given you by the Admiralty, to fly to our aid. Allow me to shake you by the hand, sir.
I conceive the plans for invasion, founded as they were upon our naval power, are somewhat upset.
It is a complete reversal. Far from our ships blockading the Mauritius, the French are now bottling up Commodore Aubrey in St. Paul's.
I spied 2 frigates on my way in, sir. One was the Astray, the other appeared to be the Iphigenia.
Iphigenie, as they now call her. Oh, it's a terrible thing. As for Amelin's other frigates, heaven only knows where they may be or what mischief they may be up to.
Well, Sir, Africaine is ready for battle, and you may call upon her to do her duty at any moment.
I am as relieved that you have come, Captain Corbett, as the French are dismayed. Dr. Maturin has enabled us to acquire... Here. General Decamps has dashed off a dispatch to his war ministry in Paris. He bewails the unexpected return of Captain Corbett, the soul of all the destructive attacks made upon our 2 islands.
1 island only now, sir, and soon shall be no islands at all.
Captain Dornel de Guy of the Manche was moved to declare that he would give up all their captures were the threat of you to be removed.
It all falls into place. Fate and our own judgment present us with an opportunity that comes to few men. We shall seize it, sir, and we will not let go.
So much bedamned human activity. Philosophical grey tortoises could never bear this. Hurry, hurry.
Doctor! Dr. Maturin!
Not again! True it is, a physician is never in want of patience, and yet is always in want of patience.
Dr. Maturin, sir!
What? Thomas Pullings! Lieutenant Pullings, upon my life and honour. How do you do, sir?
I am well, I thank you, Doctor. And you?
Well.
The Commodore?
He too, Lieutenant. How are you come to St. Paul?
Well, if you chose to tip it most uncommon civil now, sir, you could hail me Captain.
You do not tell me so. Are you indeed Captain already?
That is not ashore, sir. Not Captain P by land, but at sea, I am the captain of the Emma. She has brought me to St. Paul, sir. You can see her from here.
Captain Tom Pullings, upon my word.
Hey, you! The lobster there, yes, you! Your dad weren't no glazier, we can't see through you. There, sir. The brig just beyond the snow. Did you ever see such lovely lines?
I have seen just... Not just such, no. Elegant she is, elegant indeed. For a transport.
A wonderful brig on a bowline, sir. Draws so amazing little water she can run up the smallest creek. She is my first command, sir. She is beautiful.
What in hell's name is going on, Mr. Pullings?
I have taken the Wyndham's guns aboard Emma, sir.
You have appropriated guns from the Honourable East India Company.
Colonel Keating has given me some company gunners and some small arms men.
And you have put them aboard a transport?
Captain Tompkinson looked into the Wyndham's conditions, sir. Hurricane damaged as she has been. He refuses to take her to sea in her present state.
Commander Tompkinson refuses.
Must he not be hanged, the whore? Or flogged, or at least dismissed the service?
No, Tompkinson is a poor creature, God help him. But he is within his rights. A captain can refuse a command if his ship is unseaworthy.
We went at it all through the night, sir. Shifted all Wyndham's guns into my Emma, sir.
Tom, you are a right sea officer, I'm obliged to you. And I forgot to say, I'm glad to see you.
Sir.
Now, if you can get 8 knots out of your Emma, before long we shall have a touch of those Frenchmen out there. I shall not object to your taking one of their frigates. Even 2. That will still leave plenty for me.
Major O'Neill has come aboard, sir.
Good morning, Major. Sit down and take a cup.
Happy to do so, sir, in 1 minute. First, I must deliver my dispatch. Verbal, sir. Mr. Farquhar had no time for pen and ink. His compliments to Commodore Aubrey, and HMS Africaine is in Saint-Denis. Captain Corbett.
Corbett? Robert Corbett?
I believe so, sir. A little man, looks rather black and cross when put out.
That is the man, I make no doubt.
The same that was here before. Splendid disciplinarian.
Captain Corbett, then?
He was proceeding to Madras, sir, when he heard of the state of affairs here, so he turned off to Réunion. He charges me to say, with his duty, that 2 French frigates and a brig are coming after him into Saint-Denis, that he is clearing for action and will put to sea in a moment.
Major, I am infinitely obliged to you. Tom, haste you to Emma and make all sail.
That I will, sir.
Quebec! Light along a jug of something cool for Major O'Neill. Sandwiches, mango. At once, you hear? Mr. Seymour, all hands from the yard immediately. Prepare to slip the moment they're aboard. Pass the word for the gunner.
Mr. Dowling, pass the word for Mr. Dowling.
All hands from the yard, sir. Mr. Trollope, all hands from the yard immediately.
Mr. Johnson, signal otter and staunch. Proceed to sea immediately. And enemy cruising east-northeast. Mr. Dowling. How much have you filled?
30 rounds of guns, sir. 23 for the carronade. We've been at it all this forenoon.
Very well, Mr. Dowling.
May I hope to fill some more, sir, for the right true end?
I believe you may. And none of your white letter stuff, Mr. Dowling. Let the powder be all red, large grain. I wish to greet these Frenchmen with our very best compliments.
Africaine, September the 12th. At 4 p.m, hoisted to'gants and stunsails in chase of the enemy. Wind lively east by south, sea moderate. At 4:30, hoisted a broad pendant.
Broad pendant it is, sir.
Commodore Aubrey will forgive us the liberty, Mr. Jones. If it spurs the enemy to attack us, then so much the better. How far ahead do you make them to be, Mr. Tullidge?
7 or 8 miles, sir.
We shall have them in range before midnight. Where is the Boadicea?
I can see her falling behind, sir. Head on to the wind and struggling. Astern of her, otter and staunch, and a little odd transport. Emma, I think.
Beg pardon, sir. Mr. Parker reports we are making 9 knots.
God keep the wind. We will strike the spirits down into the hold, Mr. Tullidge. There will be no evening grog. It shall not be said that we wanted Dutch courage to thrash these Frenchmen.
Corbett is a fighting captain. He knows very well what to do. I have no doubt at all that he will do it.
I just hope he's taught his men how to point their guns this time.
He will certainly handle the Africaine well. Capital seaman. And she is a plum, no doubt of it. French built, of course. One of the finest sailors in the Navy, particularly on a wind. Which, unlike us, he has.
It's also to be hoped that he's made himself more amiable in her.
A plum sometimes has that effect upon a disappointed man. Corbett has been often disappointed.
May that not make him seek vindication?
If by that you mean laying into the French, he may seek it as much as he likes.
Lord Clonford's wretched folly stemmed from the same source and lost us 4 frigates.
Corbett is not at all the same man.
Africaine! At this moment, we could have been snug at Madras, taking on board a parcel of soldiers and making of ourselves a mere transport. But here we are, a man of war. And there are the French. Take in the stunsails, Mr. Jones.
Stunsails, aye, aye, sir.
There is no French ship afloat in these waters that we should fear. No, nor any two together. We are to fight them in the darkness. Fight them where hard pounding, yardarm to yardarm, will bring them to defeat. Before midnight, they will be in range. There is time now to sit and rest between your guns. Tell long yarns. Appoint yourselves agents for your prize money.
God send he has not engaged close without me.
We shall take them both! Play me right for the ashtray, Mr. Parker! Stand to your guns, brave lads! Show them what you're made of! Fire as you bring them to bear. Take cool aim and throw no shot away!
The captain! The captain is down! Make a lane there! Lanterns! Lanterns here!
I have lost my foot.
Bear him up here. We will get you to the cockpit, sir.
Yeah!
God in heaven, his leg. Mr. Campbell will see to you, sir.
Stick it to them, Mr. Tullidge. Pound them into pieces.
Odysseus will soon be up.
Do not presume to tell me of her sailing, Mr. Tullidge. We are alone. You have your orders. They are to fight.
There! What do you see of sconce and otter?
Nothing, sir! Nothing to windward! Nothing to leeward! The wind is freshening, sir.
The breeze that would have brought us up. Too late, Mr. Seymour.
Sir!
How does the ship?
She is withered, sir. Astray is raking us. Grape and langrage have made it impossible to move a single yard. Every brace and bowline have been shot away. Iphigenie is broadside on. We can only bring 6 guns to bear.
What of Boadicea?
There is no hope now of being succoured by her.
Very well, Mr. Tullidge. There is no alternative but to hammer away.
Sir, Mr. Parker is dead. Mr. Forder is below, a musket ball in his chest. I have 4 wounds myself. Young Jones is in sole command of the forward guns, every officer being killed or wounded. I must ask permission to strike the colours, sir.
I will not permit it.
They have received no tarnish, sir, but we cannot go on.
For shame! Your orders are to keep them flying. My men are no cowards. Fight and go down. Fight and go down.
What will you do?
Resist the temptation to run down and engage them.
Is that temptation terribly strong?
To set us right between the two, firing both sides? I should like nothing better. But it would be criminal folly.
On deck there! Africane's mainmaster's fallen!
As if we could not see it for ourselves.
A quick, hard strike and away is allowable nonetheless. Even called for, Mr. Seymour!
Sir?
We will run down to within musket shot. When I give the order, let the starboard guns fire. Deliberate, at her stern. The smoke to clear between each shot. Then about ship and the larboard broadside as we go about. Mr. Buchan! Lay me for the Iphigenie!
3 wounded only. Are you hurt?
Not at all. I thank you. I've come down to look at the butcher's bill.
The splinter wounds will do very well.
The breeches are covered with blood.
Oh, it's the master's. Mr. Buchan lost the number of his mess right by me, poor fellow.
Did we thump them?
They did not mean to fight. They do not choose to risk the throw. Africaine forced herself upon them in the dark.
So they let her go?
They have. Mr. Seymour has taken possession of her. Not that she can serve us for a time yet. She's beaten almost to a hulk.
Is there any word of her captain?
None. It is odd. Of course, the French took her officers off aboard the Astray. But a score of Africaines plunged into the sea as we bore down, swimming to us and begging to fight our guns and have another go. I wish with all my heart I could have obliged them.
Rage of defeat triumphing over the joy of deliverance.
They will have their chance. But Captain Corbett? Don't know, sir. A row of lower deck dumbness. Unbreakable. Don't know, sir. I fear it is the only answer I shall ever get.
An impressive document. The empires of Heaven and France at war on my study table. Were I a Catholic, it would make me extremely uneasy in my mind.
It is a tremendous damnation. Not an Irish soldier in French pay will lift a hand when he knows of this.
We should make another copy. For the ministry.
I have given my solemn word, my dear Governor, that only 3 vital men on the Mauritius shall see it, that I shall then commit it to the flames.
I regret your scruples. How I wish we could keep it. It is not every day that a pope excommunicates an emperor.
Nor every day is a pope imprisoned by one and blackguarded for a lunatic. Bonaparte has treated the Vatican infamously. This document is a beautiful thing. Very much more portable than 100 weight of gold, and very, very much more effective.
Look at 'em, down there in the harbour. How the Commodore does crack on slave driving, ain't it?
Well, he's got a job of work to do, ain't he? Be thankful for a signaler's hot dinner and well off out of it. Hey, say to me, Bill, what do you make of that craft there?
Where away?
Northeast, just coming round the point. She's doused her mainsail.
Oh, I can't see nothing.
Oh, what a wall-eyed, slab-sided Dutch-built bugger you are, Bill Jenkins.
She's a fisherman, can't you see they're a-pulling?
She's ain't no fisherman. And they're pulling like Duggett's Colton badge. Right into the wind's eye, like a race for £1,000.
Light along the glass, Hal. Oh, my eye. She's broke out a signal. Enemy in sight. What's red and white checker?
Due north.
Bear a hand, mate. Move your fat arse to rouse out Mr. Ballocks. I'll fix the hoist. Right. Bear a hand there.
Mr. Seymour's duty, sir. Signal station repeating from Saint-Denis. Enemy in sight, bearing due north.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. I shall be on deck directly.
I beg your pardon, sir.
What is wrong with the hams, Mr. Seymour?
A rumour has spread that the Africaines aboard are to man the forward starboard guns. With the utmost respect, sir, the Boadicers wish to represent that they would find this a little hard.
Let the hands come aft, Mr. Seymour.
Thank you, sir.
Let the hands come off!
Signal to Storch, Otter and Emma, Mr. Johnson. We're at the gun. Attend to pendants motions.
We're at the gun. Attend to pendants motions, sir.
Stunsails, Mr. Cannon. Well now, what a precious set of old women you are, upon my word. Clap onto a silly buzz with no truth in it, and you set about one another like a parcel of fish bags. Eames there with a bloody nose, and on a Sunday too, for shame. And all this before we know even if the enemy is some stray sloop, or whether he will be so polite as to stay until you have stopped clawing at one another. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. I pray God we have the good fortune to come into action.
Aye.
When we do, every team is going to fight the gun it's used to. That is justice. But if any Boadicea is hurt, then an African takes his place. And if we board, then the Africans go first. 5 minutes clear to have their revenge unmolested. That's flat, and that's fair all round. Mr. Seymour, be so good as to have cutlasses and boarding axes served out to the Africans.
Sir.
On deck there, sir! 3 ships! Roll down on the larboard bow!
Should I start to clear the ship for action, sir?
That might be a little premature, Mr. Seymour. We must not tempt fate. Too many of our captains have been doing that, this mission. Mr. Seymour, the topsails and forecasts need trimming. Mr. Dowling, I desire that you reload with grape. Grape! Not a shot to touch her hull. Sweep her deck, but do not touch her hull. You hear me there? Any gun crew that wounds her hull will be flogged. Mr. Johnson, signal engage the enemy more closely. Mr. Hall, lay me for her bow.
A grape shot in the heart is not my idea of bliss. Indeed, I should go my utmost to avoid it.
I'm sorry for Hamelin, but a man could hardly ask for better.
I could ask very much better. Your grief does not affect your appetite, I find.
Was I a superstitious cove, I could swear that Sophie was thinking of me then.
Perhaps that is why I do not see the black dog upon you. I have so often noticed it after a battle.
Well, to be sure, we have come off scot-free or very near.
That's not to my point. The butcher's bill, the funerals, men's widows to be writing to, the mess, knotting, splicing, pumping.
But, Stephen, this dust-up is only the beginning of the real action. We have evened the odds. They have lost their Commodore, and I see no spirit in them.
Well, my dear, the thing is practically done. Mauritius is ready to fall like a ripe plum or mango.
By the end of the week, Colonel Keating and I will carry out our plan. And that will be what I call the real action. I care nothing for how glum I may grow after that.
Your Excellency, my lords, General Abercrombie, and gentlemen, we are met here today in the Governor's house of a liberated Mauritius to celebrate what I may perhaps be permitted to call an unparalleled feat of combined operations, of valour, organisation...
You and I, Aubrey, have been done out of our triumph. Done.
Indomitable will.
A pack of worthless old men who would steal anything for a trumpery piece of ribbon.
Many soldiers and sailors, not to forget
Very
the
like.
estimable marine complements of our own navy, has called for exemplary...
What is it that you're sitting on, Stephen? It's my precious bolster, recovered from the Nereid at last. Stuffed with the down of perhaps the last dodo in the world. It's beyond price.
I take no credit to myself.
Only a bloody baronetcy.
No, the credit is all due to a young lady in Madras.
Admiral, you have turned over 2 pages. You have come to the joke.
It is all due to the many corps that have made up our great enterprise. And in the commanding officers of those many corps, it has been my particular pleasure and privilege to have striven in the assembly
Dr. Maturin, why is it that our friend Aubrey is so basely supplanted at the 11th hour, yet takes it all so jovial? Is he merry?
Living memory.
Merry enough, Colonel Keating, sir.
Salt tears for his dreams
Merry
of a
enough.
flatboat bridge across the channel.
There is no one so welcome as the postman, Mr. Pullings.
You have had none then, sir, since I last saw you?
Never a word, Tom. Not for the best part of a year. And that was all out of order. For the most part ruined.
Then I am the first. Let me wish you and Mrs. Aubrey all the joy in the world, sir.
What?
Yes, sir. Naval Chronicle. At Ashgrove Cottage, Chiltern Admiral in Hearts, the lady of Captain Aubrey of the Boadicea, of a son and heir.
Give it here. Well, I'll be damned. God bless me!
We always knew, Mrs. P and I, how you wanted a boy.
Lord, upon my word and honour, I will be damned to hell and back again.
In the course of my long career, I have been compelled to give many orders. Some, though always for the good of the service, have sometimes been repugnant to my finer feelings. For even an admiral, gentlemen, retains finer feelings.
The damned old scrub that he is.
But now, with His Excellency Mr. Farquhar's permission, I shall indulge myself by giving an order more congenial to the spirit of a plain British sailor. I hereby request and require Captain Aubrey, as soon as he's finished his dinner, to repair aboard his ship the Boadicea, hence to convey my dispatches to the Lords Commissioners of the Admiralty with all the diligence in his power. And to this gentleman I will append a toast, filled to the brim, gunnels under, to England home and beauty. May lucky Jack Aubrey reach 'em with fair winds and flowing sheets every mile of the way. To England, home and beauty.
In The Mauritius Command by Patrick O'Brien, dramatised by Roger Danes, Captain Jack Aubrey was played by David Robb, Dr. Stephen Maturin by Richard Delane, Captain Corbett, Christian Rodsker, Governor Farquhar, David Rintoul, Lieutenant Colonel Keating, Thomas Arnold, Lieutenant Seymour, Max Dowler, Admiral Bertie, Sean Baker, Major O'Neill, Sam Dale, Lieutenant Pullings, David Holt, Lieutenant Tullidge, Lloyd Thomas, and Midshipman George Johnson, Nyasha Hatendi. Other parts were played by members of the cast. The director was Bruce Young.